Father's Day to all the fathers out there, all the pimp daddies, all the simp daddies, the pimp daddies, the simp daddies, the strong daddies, the pussy daddies, all you guys. Happy Father's Day. Quick shout out to my dad. You know, he and I have our differences. I get pissed off at him, but I can't expect him to. I can't expect him to be what I want him to be. All I can do is expect me to be what I want to be. That's all that matters. Still love him. I get pissed at him, sure, but I gotta stop getting pissed at him. I got better things to do. So we'll start out on that note. He still pisses me off, though. Try not to let him piss me off. Don't want to give him that power. But overall, we're doing a bit of a reaction video today. Post-game reaction. Day after the event. I was one of the very few. There was another guy that was there. His name was TJ. Another dude who was there who was a fellow Trumpian. We both like Trump, you know. Funny thing is he tried to vote for Bernie back in like 2016 or whatever. So he used to, he was definitely one of those Democrats that walked away from the Democratic Party, and he was it's funny because it was weird because he also was going to vote for Andrew Yang because I also wanted to vote for Andrew Yang as well. He was definitely a consideration, without a doubt. But overall, it was really an interesting event. And I'm happy to be down here at the park. I needed to get some sunshine. I didn't feel like being in the house. Oh. I was about ready to explode. Look at that. Look at that Sprite about ready to explode. Hold on. I think we're good. Hold on. But yeah, I got a lot of exercise yesterday. Very fun. Very good day. Felt good, got to walk around. The thing is, if I were to guess the percentage based on what I saw yesterday of nice people versus mean people, a lot of the younger people were a lot meaner to me. There were some old boomers, though, that were pretty mean to me, all because I wore a Trump hat. And look, was I trolling a bit? Yes, absolutely, I was trolling. But I wasn't saying hateful things to anybody specifically, to be honest. I believe the world is a stage. I really do. I firmly believe that. Do I like Trump? Yes. I'm not going to be apologetic about that. Do I think he wants to be a king? I don't think so. I know everybody wants to believe that. And I know the mainstream media feeds that lie down to everybody's throats. I don't think he does. In fact, he joked about it. If anything, he's like, look, how can I be a king? I can barely get anything done right now. He was basically complaining about how little he could actually do. So in a lot of ways, look, we'll even have a poll. Do you think Trump wants to be a king? We'll get this poll out here in just a second. Please like the video. More likes we get, the better. So do you think Trump wants to be a king? Yes. But yes, he is evil. And then no. People take him too literally. Oh, there we go. Yes, he is evil and orange. This is a good poll. I like this poll. All right, there we go. We got a good poll going here. All right. So, all right, so the question here is, do you think Trump wants to be a king? I honestly don't. He's a sarcastic bastard. If you watch any of the things he says, don't read what the reporters say that he says. Actually hear what he has to say. So context is king, tonality is king, by the way. the man is constantly sarcastic. He makes quips and jokes, and yeah, does he take the presidency seriously? I think he takes America seriously. I don't know if he takes the presidency seriously. I'm not sure, and I don't think at this point, you know, the presidency in a lot of ways was not meant to be taken super seriously anyway. It is the executive branch, obviously, but it doesn't mean necessarily that, you know, first off, our Constitution doesn't allow him to be a king, so I don't understand why people are thinking that he's trying. Like, even if he was trying to be a king, there have been plenty of presidents who have basically essentially tried to be kings, but the way that the way our system of government is constructed does not allow for that, by the way. So let's say he does want to be a king. Okay, good for him. Can he do it? No. There have been plenty of presidents, I believe. I think FDR even kind of tried to be one at one point, really. I will say back in the founding days, though, George Washington declined, and that was really cool. So I'm really big fan of that, George Washington declining, because he said, no, I don't want to be the king of America, because we came to this place to avoid kings to begin with. So, look, do I think Trump wants to be a king? Absolutely not. I really don't think he does. I think he jokes about it because he's pissed that he can't get anything done. And look, you know, random guy on YouTube, my biological stepson, Ty Lord, says, Happy Father's Day, Dad. Happy Father's Day, biological stepson. I wish I could say that I gave birth to you out of my rump, but that would be untrue. But that is not true, unfortunately. I've given birth to a lot of turds in this life. Some of the things that I've given birth to, though, Bitcoin. I've given birth to, basically, what I'm trying to say is that I've shit a lot of stuff out of my butt, and the things that I've shit out of my butt are Bitcoin, Fartcoin, any sort of Ponzi scheme. I farted that. I invented it. No, just kidding. I'm not, but no. Happy Father's Day, everybody. And I'm not a real daddy. I'm a fake daddy. Most people just call me Zaddy. I hope people say Happy Zaddy Day. You're a great Zaddy. But yeah, I'm a Zaddy. You know, not a daddy. I'm a Zaddy. I'm a hip daddy. I'm just kidding. I'm the furthest thing. No, I'm not a dad in the real traditional sense. But I do have the kitties that I make sure that I try to spoil. But that's about the closest thing. I've just kind of learned that, you know, this is just fun, man. It's just awesome. But yeah, having fun at the park, being able to talk about, you know, the post game reaction to the anti-Trump rally, the No Kings rally. And I just find it funny because I was talking to a guy at the end of it that was there. There were two very nice people. One was a gal named Devin, and another a guy named Michael. He was really cool. Both of them were really awesome. And we had a little bit of a discussion about, like, you know, I don't like the Democrats. I don't like what they've become as a party. They're way too into socialism and communism for me to actually agree with them on anything, because I know the root of their belief is rooted in collectivism, and I'm just not a collectivist. So it would be foolish for me to ever vote Democrat, because it's just not the way I'm wired. But overall, though, really satisfied with being able to go to that rally. It was actually really fun. I got called fascist several times. That was surprising. Well, not surprising, to be honest. Who am I kidding? I wasn't surprised by that. But got called fascist. Somebody, I think, even called me a Nazi, if I remember right. Probably thought, it might have been in my head. But yeah, some punk kids told me to fuck off, and all I was doing was rapping about Joe Biden. I did say that the Democrat Party invented the KKK, by the way, or one of the founding political parties. And by the way, that's not false. Look that up. Seriously, if you go on Google, which political party founded the KKK, it will show the Democrats. That's the history books. Now, everybody says, oh, the party switch happened. The Democrats are no longer rooted in racism. I'm sorry. The Democrat Party, they like to hide that. They're not proud of it, obviously, but they invented the KKK. So it's because they were kind of pissed because the Republicans, Abraham Lincoln back in the day, freed the slaves, and the racist Democrat Party back in the day was like, let's create the kick. So it's funny, I don't know. The Democrat Party is founded on daddy issues and racism to begin with. So that's just a fun fact. And a lot of people like to pretend like the party switch happened. It didn't. The Democrat Party, I mean, majority of Democrats out there are really uncomfortable around minorities. And they just are. I think secretly, because if you're uncomfortable around minorities, man, and you think you got to walk around eggshells around them, that's stupid. I've known plenty of black people, plenty of Mexican people. I don't kiss their ass. I don't. They don't want me to either. I've riffed with the best of them, man. I've riffed with some black dudes, riffed with some Mexican dudes. And the whole thing is, I think we're so busy trying to kiss ass that we're so many people. I consider political correctness a form of kiss-assery, because you're trying to people please and kiss ass to the group. And I say fuck the group. The group is retarded. The group is dumb. The group is wrong. Anyway, let's see. Rick from Oregon says all country people pragmatism. We believe in working, not in time. Absolutely, and I'm all for it, man. That's why I voted for Trump. I voted for Trump, man. 2016, 2020, 2024. And I'm a Latino, by the way. And I've kind of started to wear it a little bit more. I am Latino. I'm tired of the racist Democrats telling me I'm not. I'm serious. And yeah, am I kind of doing it for convenience? Sure. It is convenient for me to actually admit that I'm Latino. Because I can play the Mexican card, Isn't that great? And it's true. It's not a lie. Just because I'm white as shit, can't help it. My grandpa and my dad, they liked white women. And then here I am, That's just how it works. They liked the white women. Yeah. So whatever. And I'm a 25%. And this is one of my theories. I think genetically, I'm predispositioned not to have white guilt. I really believe that. I think I'm predispositioned not to have the same level of white guilt that everybody else does, because I just don't feel guilty about being white at all. I don't really look. While I do like to talk about race on this channel from time to time, it's not the central focus of this channel. But I will say, since the Democrats are so obsessed with race, I like to point out to them that the demographics that you're trying to attract are leaving your party. Because, first off, Mexicans don't want to be called Latinx, Latinx, that stupid Latinx shit. They're tired of it. It's a very masculine culture, by the way, and the Democratic Party does not promote masculinity. In fact, it demonizes most men for being men. So, yeah, a lot of Latinos actually voted the other way around, oddly enough. I actually wasn't sure how the Latino vote would go, but yeah, a lot of Latinos voted for Trump, including myself. I voted for him in Oregon, even though it was a futile vote. Obviously I knew that that Oregon was too blue to ever vote for Trump. Actually, this last election, though, I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't say Oregon was close to turning red, but there were a lot more people who voted for Trump this time around in Oregon than before. So there was a shift, that's for sure. I still think that Washington, California, and Oregon are still going to be the left coast as usual. Yeah, I just think, I don't know what path we're on, but we're on a path, some kind of path. Don't know what it is yet, but we'll see. Feels good to be out in the sun today, though. I'm just chilling out. It is Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to all the daddies out there, all the zaddies, all the daddies. And enjoy the show. You guys are probably out there, having a good time, doing what you're doing. I am the biological stepdad to many, including my delinquent biological stepson, Ty Lord, who I love dearly. You're the man, Ty Lord. And see. Let's see. So here's the poll. Do you think Trump wants to be a king? Two of you voted, only two, and all of you voted. No, people take him too literally. That's what I say. I really do think people take Trump too literally. He is one of those guys, and I have to make the point, like, if he wanted to be a dictator, if he wanted to take over, wouldn't he have done it in during his 2016 to 2020 term? In fact, if anything, he proved that he was trying to deregulate the government more than anything. So look, I would rather be for Trump than against him. And it's because I don't think he's that bad. I really don't. I think that a lot of the mainstream media overblows things. They lie. That's the biggest thing, is the lies from the mainstream media. Look, the mainstream media, it's become the little boy who cried wolf. The problem is the mainstream media has cried wolf so many times on things and has been proven wrong. And they're doing it for ratings, because they know any negative coverage about Trump will at least get those crazy Karens who like to watch the news, like a few people, out there. It'll get the crazy Karens to go haywire. They don't put anything nice out about Trump because, I'm sorry, nice news about Trump doesn't sell. And honestly, most people want to believe that he's an evil guy. So that's the thing. So I don't trust the mainstream media. If the mainstream media tells me that Trump is an evil person, I don't believe him. If we're going to be honest, I don't believe the mainstream media whatsoever. I do believe that it's a little boy who cried wolf is really what it boils down to. And not afraid to admit that. So. Let's see. Shah BBA says Trump, he ignores that J suits rule the world. Study. What's G suits? What are you talking about? GE suits? Dude, what are you talking about, Shah BBA? Don't understand, man. But yeah, overall, I did talk to some nice people, but there were a lot of people who were pissed at me for having a Trump hat on. Absolutely. Was I trolling? Sure. There were times. I'm a mixture of things. I'm not 100% a troll. There was 20-30% of me that's trolling, but there's another side of me that's more curious. It's more fun to go to where you're not wanted than to go to where you're wanted. It's more intellectually stimulating, if anything. It's an intellectual challenge to argue with people. You know what I mean? To argue with a wolf pack. Is it smart? Probably not. A couple guys almost tried to beat me up a little bit. It was. I would have, honestly, if we're going to be honest, I would have let him throw a punch. I'm not saying I'm a tough guy, but I would have let him throw a punch. Because if they're the first ones to punch, then I have at least full ability to fight back and defend myself. But yeah, if I'm a guy with a MAGA hat on, I'd probably just let him beat me up. If I'm going to be honest, have it all on film and just show that these people have no tolerance, that they claim to be tolerant, but they're not. And that's why I don't vote Democrat, because the people who vote Democrat are usually the least tolerant people I've ever met. Usually. There are exceptions to the rule, by the way. And it's my small exposure to Democratic. My dad and his friends, they're kind of they are snooty, smug, and they're the type of people who vote. I mean, Democrat, you can't just bunch the Democrat Party as to one single person, type of person, but you know what I mean. There is a stereotype for the type of people who vote Democrat. If somebody has a coexist sticker on the back of their car, pretty certain they didn't vote for Trump. Just going to say that right now. Let's see. Shaw BBA says I study charts too. He doesn't. Yeah, who cares, dude? You're not the president of the United States, and I don't even know what you do. Happy Father's Day, Shaw BBA. I'm your daddy. I'm your daddy now. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, honestly, this is just the way I think. And yeah, is it popular to think the way that I think? Without a doubt, no. Fuck no. Oh man, the way I think is so unpopular. It's crazy. It's not even like I don't even think bad thoughts. If we're gonna be honest, my thoughts are basic. I want smaller government. My philosophy is so simple, and it's and the problem is and people always wonder why can't you vote Democrat? Why are they? Why do you think they're so evil? It's like you're evil because they believe in evil bullshit. Well, I wouldn't say evil ideas. I don't think an idea is inherently evil, but I do believe that bad ideas can permeate. And it's funny because sometimes bad ideas resurface. And like, look, I think it's great to study. I think it's great to study socialism and communism. I'm not saying that people shouldn't study those. I'm just saying that there are some people who haven't, in my opinion, studied it enough to know that it's a bad idea. And look, study history too. Study not only the philosophy, the system itself, but see how effective it's been throughout history. History can tell you a lot. And but yeah, history is too inconvenient for people to read, unfortunately. Shaw BBA says, so I can't give 1 second to his opinion. But you talk about money and stocks all the time. Yeah, I talk about investing all the time. I love investing. I don't care who's president either. I'm always going to invest. I think the one thing that's consistent is the Federal Reserve is going to keep printing dollars and just debasing our currency like crazy. And so investing, in my opinion, at least in a diversified portfolio, is the smartest way I could do things. Spread out my risk. As long as I'm into things that give me positive cash flow, I'm on the right path. It's just the way it works. But yeah, I'm a buy and hold investor, you guys, just straight up. I usually just buy one share of every stock that I can get a hold of or ETF, and I have fun with it. So, yeah, no shame there. Let's see. Sean BBA says, what does the news have to do with the charts? I have no idea. I don't even know what charts you're talking about, Shaw BBA. What charts are you talking about specifically? Can you be more specific? I'm just curious what's even going through your fucking mind. It's funny. I love Coca-Cola so much that I will gladly drink a Sprite on this channel because I own Coca-Cola stock, and Coca-Cola is one of my favorite companies. I don't know, I don't know how nice it is to work for Coca-Cola, but hopefully it's a good thing. But yeah. Let's see. Just a lot of people coming here at the park. I love it. Chilling out. I honestly enjoy doing these live streams at the park. It really is fun. You get to. One of these days, somebody will probably pop up and get a random interview in. I'm fine with interviewing strangers. Somebody comes up to me and they're like, "Hey, I want you to interview me." I'm like, "Fuck it, as long as you don't have a knife, as long as you're not trying to kill me." Oh, it's beautiful out here today. This is beautiful. But yeah, overall, I just invest. I don't really care what the market does as long as I can get good companies at a good deal. Make sure you guys like the video though. Subscribe to the channel, please. The more likes and subscribes we get, the better. We're really trying to pump up this channel subscribers to a higher level, reach a more vast audience, and Really have such a good time with it. And I love doing this show. So the more I can do the show, the better. Um, but yeah, you guys, I mean, that Trump rally, that anti-Trump rally, man, I was trolling a bit there. When those punk kids were being kind of douchebags to me, I started showing them on camera and being like, hey, look at all these Trump supporters. That pissed them off a lot. I mean, I wanted to troll them more than anybody because they were just being total dicks to me. Yeah, I was rapping about Joe Biden, and not even in a negative way. Well, in a kind of sexual way, because I like Joe. I don't think he's, well, okay, I'm lying about that, but I think he makes for good content. I think he's our most ridiculous president ever. I do think he's the worst president since Jimmy Carter for sure. Um, I think George Bush is third worst of all time. Not a fan of George Bush at all. I think George Bush was one of the worst presidents we ever had. Definitely third worst. But Biden's definitely top of the charts, worst. Jimmy Carter second. But third was definitely Bush. Shaw BBS says, do you know the bull is happening now? You talking about the bull market? Okay, which markets are we talking about here? Are we talking about the stock market? Are we talking about the bond market? I need more specifics, brother. If we're talking about the stock market, sure, a bull run happens whenever. People get into the market. I'm always dollar cost averaging, so it doesn't matter. I'm always exposed to the market. I also swing trade a few ETFs. Shaw BBA says all. Hey, look, if Bitcoin goes up on a bull run, by the way, I'll know that the dumb money's stupid enough to be put in there, so I'll be happy to bet against it. But Bitcoin is definitely probably the dumbest investment of all time. I think Bitcoin is probably the worst. And this is another thing. People say that I don't have the ability to disagree with Donald Trump and that I agree with everything he says. No, I'm actually angry that he came out with Trump coin. That pisses me off. I don't like the fact that he's a proponent of Bitcoin or goes to any crypto conference, if I'm going to be quite honest. I wasn't the biggest fan of those NFTs. I thought that was a grift as well. I thought it was funny. Don't get me wrong. I think grifting is funny. Like, I have a different attitude towards it than like guys like CoffeeZilla. CoffeeZilla takes it too seriously. I think if you fall for an obvious grift, I mean, it's like you're kind of hopeless. And also, it's kind of up to the regulators to kind of identify what a grift is. And the fact of the matter is, I'm just shocked that legislators haven't like already figured out that crypto is a scam. All of it. Bitcoin is. It's all stupid. It's all phony money. It's all just, you're basically just owning a piece of data. At the end of the day, you don't own anything in all reality. Shaw BBA says, I do Elliott wave analysis and you keep talking about silly news. What is Elliott waves? Just tell me what an Elliott wave is. Just educate me on this Elliott wave bullshit. Is it like a certain way of reading candlestick charts or some bullshit? Look, who the fuck cares? If I'm going to be Elliott waves, who the fuck cares? Honestly, I just stick to, if I'm going to swing trade, the ones that I swing trade are 3 ETFs specifically. Very specific. 3 ETFs. And what I do, very strategically, by the way, I only pick ETFs that I'm okay with holding if things get shaky. I own 2 ETFs that allow me to bet against Bitcoin because I think Bitcoin's garbage. And then I own an ETF that allows me to get into the S&P 500 basically, but this one, instead of having just the 500 best, it's got the 750 best, like US large cap. So it's a pretty win-win situation. But that's one of my favorite ones to swing trade is the SCHX. It's a Schwab large cap ETF. Really fun. I enjoy it. I get a thrill. I get a sick thrill out of it, man. But yeah, I enjoy doing the show. Enjoy doing the program. I might even stand up here in a second just because I think it'd be better for me to do a stand-up show. Not stand-up comedy by any means. I'm not that funny. But I will say I'll probably put this more in the center. I want to get some sun real quick, and we'll see if I can get a little bit of sunshine. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. I have a 64% battery. That's a lot better than I expected being 30 minutes into this. Oh, my shoe came untied. Hold on. My shoe was untied. Let's see. ShawBBA says, look, I like your channel. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hunter says, some of the smartest people say Bitcoin is great, though. Yeah, some of the smartest people also think dumb things are cool. Look, you know, I don't understand what it is about intelligent people, but there are intelligent people who think dumb things are smart, and it blows my mind. Doctors don't know shit about asset accumulation. I swear to God, doctors might be the worst with their money, because they seem to be more susceptible to lifestyle inflation than anybody. Yeah, I don't know. Just because intelligent people think something is smart doesn't mean it is always so. Sometimes intelligent people, look, there have been bad ideas that have been believed for the longest of times by intelligent people and stupid people at the same time. And it doesn't mean, just because a group of intelligent people thinks something's smart doesn't mean it actually is. That's the point I'm trying to make. And you see it all the time, man. You know, .com bubble is a great example. A lot of very smart market analysts, you know, basically said, yeah, this is fine. You know, market capitalization doesn't matter. Hold on, let me put this up a little bit further. I have a feeling the wind is going to sweep this fucker out. There we go. That should be good. Keep it down on the down low. Here we are. Kind of focus this a little more that way. That works. And if a gust of wind happens, a gust of wind happens, I guess. But yeah, overall, get my 7 up here, my Sprite over here. But yeah, this is the park, man. This is where the magic happens. All the bullshit happens. It's where people get their, I don't know, where people do some nasty things here in this park. That's what I assume, at least. And it's a rightful assumption. Let's see. See how high I can get this. I'm trying to get like a little more of a. Hold on. Yeah, getting the tripod just right is a pain in the rear. Might be able to have a better angle over this way. There we go. I think that's slightly better. Not perfect, but a little better than it was before. And let me lift this up a little bit. Could you lift me up? 'Cause I'm breaking down. But yeah, no, it's fun to do these park shows, though. I really do enjoy doing the park show. Good times. As you can see behind me, it's just a bunch of nature, and I love this bench, though. As you can, it's kind of neat because I can kind of people watch. I don't really enjoy people watching, but you know, maybe somebody will see me talking to myself and they'll be like, "Oh, what's that crazy guy doing?" And they might want to do an interview. And hey, more the merrier, man. More the merrier. But yeah, no, it was fun to be a counter protester as well. I mean, I enjoy trolling, but at the same time, I also enjoy being contrarian where I'm not wanted. Being contrarian where you're not wanted is a sick thrill that I have, and I don't feel bad about it because it's just something that I enjoy. I've always been fairly contrarian. You know, I guess you could say I'm a rebel. If I think something is stupid, I will rebel against it. It's just the same way I rebel against Bitcoin. You know, just because everybody's into it doesn't mean I need to be. I mean, I am into it. I got into it early. I got into it at a low price, but still, Bitcoin is a grift. Bitcoin is stupid. Let's see. My girlfriend says, my goddamn sprites. But yeah, no, I think it's just fun to be contrarian. Intelligently. I'm an intelligent contrarian. I'm still kind of a dummy, but there are some dumb ideas that I probably have that I'm not aware is as dumb as I think it is. But like, for example, I think doctors are really stupid with their money. Doctors, I've seen a lot of like I've read a few financial audits, and that doctors seem to actually be the worst with preserving their wealth. Like, they're good at making money, but they just don't know, you know what I mean? Like, that's the way I see it. And Yeah, it's my philosophy. Let's see. My girlfriend says replenish and then just drain. And just drain. Hey, I'm only drinking one, and I was like, I want to make a park video, and it's very. By the way, I live fairly close to an actual grocery store, so honestly, it's not tough for me to just walk my big old small booty. I don't know why I'm saying big old small booty. I can walk my big old small booty over, get the Sprites, get the sodas. I got it. But no, I do. I am guilty. I get these for my girlfriend, but I end up drinking some. But I've been doing a better job of replenishing as best as I can. But I'm guilty. I'm guilty of stealing all the Sprites. I got a problem. But yeah, doing a little bit more of a stand-up show today. Like I said, I'm at the park, and if you guys even want to see where I'm at, this is, you can kind of see kind of more down that way. You get I don't know, what can you guys see from your vantage point? Let's see. Yeah, well, here, I'll show you guys a better angle. This is more of the park. You get to see kind of the ducks and stuff, and this is it's really a nice point up here, because when I'm up here, people are rarely ever here. Like these benches, and there's 3 of them. It's this one, the other one, and the other one. Nobody comes up here, and this is the best spot to do a show because it's very scenic. I love nature, so anytime I could be around trees and shit, I'm a hippie. The irony is I'm a hippie at the end of the day. I love my essential oils. Okay, I'm not that. The only essential oil I need is avocado oil and baby oil, all right? Let's take a look at the poll, though. Let's take a look at the poll. So we got 5 votes. Let's see. Do you think Trump wants to be king? To be a king, please like the video, by the way, and subscribe to the channel. 40% say yes, he is evil and orange. I had to put that orange part in because it's just funny. And then 60% say no, people take him too literally. I do think people take him too literally. Even if he does want to be a king, and here's the thing, I think most presidents who have ever been president actually did, under the table, want to have more power. But our Constitution, our entire system of government, doesn't actually allow even a want to be tyrant to be a tyrant. So I understand people's dilemma if he does want to be a king. Let's say he does. I don't really know. I still think it's overly exaggerated, but let's say he wants to be a king. Run this through, people, everybody, run this through your mind real quick. Honestly, with the way the government's constructed, he technically can't. Yes, he could do executive orders, but he does still, in a sense, have to answer to the judicial branch. So if they find that he's doing anything that's out of scope of what he should be doing, they can technically halt it. Supreme Court can do things. All that matters is, though, will the Supreme Court actually choose to do something if they deem it unethical or unlawful or whatever, if it's out of scope of what the executive branch should be doing. And that's my whole point. King or no king, let's say, our whole system of government was designed to prevent kings to begin with from actually doing anything, if somebody wanted to be. So in the long run, my philosophy is this: who the fuck cares if he wants to be a king? I'm pretty sure plenty of other people wanted to take the throne. I'm sure Dick Cheney, for instance, he was vice president. I was pretty sure he was hoping that Bush would, go away. He never did. But, I think guys like, Dick Cheney, he was definitely not a fan of Dick Cheney, not a fan of George Bush. I think he wanted to be a tyrant. I think he wanted to rule the United States if he could. And in a sense, he was trying to. He was trying to see what he could get away with. Bush was the talking figure, and then, Cheney was the brains behind the operation. But yeah, Cheney wanted to be a king, and I don't think Bush gave a shit. So I think Bush was like, all right, well, you helped my dad run the country before. You helped my dad run the country before. Help me run the country. It's and then of course, you get, I don't know. I just think honestly, politics. I do think it attracts corrupt people, and I do believe Trump has a little corruption in his soul. Without a doubt. And but doesn't everybody? I think everybody. I think anybody who runs for president. This is my philosophy. Anybody who becomes president or runs for it, I honestly believe that they are a certain grade of narcissist, because you kind of have to be a narcissist to think that you can run an entire country. And I'm serious when I say that. I think you have to be a narcissist to think that I can do this. I can run a whole fucking country. I don't care if you're Barack Obama. I don't care if you're Joe Biden. I don't even care if you're Trump. They're all narcissists in my book. That's one thing they all have in common. There is a level of narcissism that all these people have. Anybody who's ever been president, anybody who's ever run for president, actually is a narcissist. And I'm not afraid to admit that. I think it's a great admission. And I don't know. People are too busy thinking I got Trump's cock in my mouth, for me to think objectively, and that's fine. Think what you want. I don't really care at the end of the day what anybody thinks. I'm going to have my own opinion. I'm a free thinker. I'm an independent voter, free thinker. I don't subscribe to the Republican Party. I don't subscribe to the Democrat Party. I definitely have stayed away from the Democrat Party, though. But I'll talk to them. I talk to people who are Democrats. I'm fine with it. I just, I don't think I'm going to be going to any of those. Dude, honestly, I got a lot of bad vibes from those rallies that I went to, the No Kings ones. And I'm sure they got bad vibes from me, obviously. Even though I came in with no ill will. Like, they probably just saw the red hat and they're like, ooh, I'm so angry right now. That's probably what happened. So they saw my mega hat, and dude, some of the young kids that really gave me the most grief the boomers were actually kind of pretty tame. They mocked me a little bit, but they were actually intelligent about their mocking, even though I thought what they believed was wrong. But I appreciate that they were willing to mock what I was saying. I was rapping about my love of Joe Biden, but whoop-de-doo. I was actually, like I said, there was a few points that I was not cordial. I was not cordial with the punk rock kids. Those punk kids. Irony is, those punk kids are actually more establishment than I am. So I'm more punk rock than they are, because I think the Democrat Party has lost its way, and Democrat Party's more establishment than anything. So if you claim to be punk rock and you're for the Democrat Party, I got news for you, son. You're establishment. You need to start wearing a suit and tie, and become. Your establishment is shit. Let's see. Tim Smith says a king is a king, not a tyrant. 99% of countries through all history were ruled by kings and queens up until 2 seconds ago. Were they all wrong? Interesting. That's a thing, Tim, that Curtis Yarvin has talked about. If anybody doesn't know who Curtis Yarvin is, he's an interesting, I don't know exactly what you would call him. I guess you would call him a political theorist. He believes in some interesting political theories. And I've watched some of his interviews. He's got some fascinating takes on it. And Tim's right, actually. It is funny, because most countries have been ruled by some form of a king or an emperor or something. You know what I mean? And is it right? Is it effective? I'm not a fan of monarchies. I think in a corporation, I think it's okay to have some sort of that kind of structure to some degree. I don't really necessarily. I do believe that you need to have people that make decisions at the end of the day, but you should allow for input from the people. You know what I mean? Real input from the people. And so I'm not saying I think full-on democracy is a bad idea. But I do believe that that the people of a specific nation do need to have some form of input and influence into how decisions go. And this is one of the reasons why I always hate it when people say that we're a democracy. We're not. Well, on the state level, yes. On the state level, we are absolutely a democracy, 100%. Because in the state level, it's all majority rule when shit goes down, right? So on the federal level, though, we're actually a constitutional republic. We have representatives, that we choose for our state. We have senators that we choose from our state. We vote on it. That part is a democracy, right? We vote on those people. But on the federal level, they represent us. We actually don't really have, they represent us, but they'll take our suggestions to heart sometimes. But they represent our voice at the federal level, right? We actually don't get to vote on anything that happens in Congress directly. And this is one of the reasons why it's important to have a constitutional republic at the federal level, because honestly, I honestly think that, I just think I don't want California, for instance, determining a lot of the federal laws, and I think that's important. I really do. I don't want California. I don't want Texas. I think Texas is backwards as shit in a lot of ways. And they vote the way, a lot of people vote the way I do in Texas. I think Texas is backwards as shit, along with California. I think they're both backwards ass states. And yeah, I don't know. That's my opinion. And yeah, I've got some interesting political theories, But no, Tim, I like it. I don't know if America needs a king, though. I think we need to avoid that. But I don't think we need democracy either. The democracy at the federal level is bullshit. We're a constitutional republic, and it's been that way since the inception of this. So we're not a full-out democracy. If we were a full-out democracy, America would have been dead a long time ago. Yeah, and that's why I'm happy to say that we're a constitutional republic. Because I think a constitutional republic is a fine in-between. And what do I mean by a fine in-between? I think it's a compromise between a monarch. Because we got away from England to avoid a king, right? We got away from that to avoid a king. So I'm fine with the in-between. Now, if we have full-on democracy is dangerous and deadly, because I do believe majority rule is actually a bad idea. But I do believe that the in-between on the federal level is the constitutional republic. We're a constitutional republic, man. That is it. And I think it's stayed pretty steady for the most part. It's as steady as the people want it to be honest. And if the youth becomes too stupid, which I think they already are, I'm glad we got rid of the Department of Education, by the way. I think, honestly, education should be in the state's hands. And I think that because the federal government's tried to indoctrinate the children into thinking that federal government's the way to go. Too much federal government, man, is just deadly. It's deadly. We don't want too much federal government control, ever. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. Sorry about that, folks. But yeah, Tim, look, I don't know. I think a king can become a tyrant, though, eventually. But look, our system of government prevents anybody from being a king, even at the executive level, right? And that's why it exists. Now, the president should still be able to execute certain orders, but I do believe the Supreme Court does need to keep an eye on what those orders are and what they're doing, make sure they're within the Constitution. And look, the president's not going to get it right every time. Sometimes he may do things that violate the Constitution. He may try to sign something in, but that's where the Supreme Court comes in. Not to arrest the president, not to do any of that, but to stop those orders from going through, because the Supreme Court can make the decision. So it's up to the Supreme Court to use their due diligence, to be smart. So even if Trump wanted to be a king, like put my personal feelings aside, if he did, okay, whoop-de-doo, big whoop. Our system of government prevents it, is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I could go on and on. Gay bitch says, I don't really care as long as they leave my guns and my cannabis alone. No. That's fair. Honestly, that's why big government, keep government small, man. Keep federal government small. State government, honestly, state government's whatever it wants to be, right? I think more power should be in the hands of the state to control the state's destiny, right? I think I don't think anybody in Washington, D.C. honestly knows what's best for people in Oregon. I don't think they know what's best for people in Texas. I don't think they know what's best for people in Washington or California, you name it, any state. Yeah, my pure ass philosophy is very simple. I just want less federal government. Plain and simple. Less federal laws. Let more, there still needs to be federal laws, obviously. Certain federal programs I do think need to exist. But we've relied too much on centralized government for a lot of shit. And that needs to stop at some point. And it's a tough Band-Aid to rip off. Because when you start relying too heavily on the federal government, you really are opening Pandora's box of dependency. And I think that level of dependency on the federal government becomes a real crutch, and honestly something that should be avoided, if we're going to be honest. If we're going to be honest, whoever wants to be honest with me, and I think what I'm saying makes a shit ton of sense. And maybe not to some people. I don't know. Maybe some people disagree with me, and that's fine. But disagree with me. I think it's great. I got called a fascist so many times yesterday that I don't even believe the word is used accurately anymore by the left, because I was the least fascist person there. If I was fascist, I would have tried to shut people up with violence, and that's what a fascist person would do. But I stood my ground. I stayed in my own little corner. I said my piece. I was on my soapbox. Absolutely. But yeah, the left is dead to me. The Republican Party is fairly dead to me. I mean, if we ever get like an Abraham Lincoln style president, I think that'd be great. I don't know if Trump's it per se, but I would love to see somebody who tries to kind of follow in the footsteps of Lincoln for the Republican Party. I would love that, because Abe Lincoln's my favorite president, man. Honest Abe, dude. I do love Abe. I think if we were to put a Mount Rushmore, man, it's I don't know if Trump makes it around Mount Rushmore, but I definitely know that, George Washington, I have pure respect for him because he didn't want to be a king. I have pure respect for Abe for freeing the slaves. Anybody who was an abolitionist, tried to get basically that just basically means somebody who didn't think slavery was a good idea. I respect that, man. I respect the hell out of that. So let's see. Tim Smith says you should have asked the No Kings people, why would Trump be cutting federal workers and cutting waste if he wanted more power? Actually, I did bring that up a little bit. I didn't bring it up often, though. I should have brung it up more often during my time during the protests. I don't even know if I want to do those protests anymore, man. Those protests were exhausting. I think you can only get called a fascist so many times before you're just like, dude, these people are just mental patients. I may have been wearing a Trump hat. I may have been rapping about how much I love Joe Biden, but how they treated me, how a lot of those people treated me, was honestly not nice. And, how you treat people with a different viewpoint says more about you. And I think I treated them pretty fair. Sure, I rapped about Joe Biden and I was being kind of gross, but I wasn't directing anything at anybody. I didn't call out one specific person in the crowd. I gave my general, performance theater. I do like doing a little performance theater, don't get me wrong. I think I'm a little bit of an actor at heart, and it's fun to put on my acting chops from time to time. But yeah, I did kind of bring that up a couple times during the live stream. Like, I was just like, look, if Trump's a tyrant, and at least I think I did. I like to believe I did. I could have swore I did. But I maybe brought it up once or twice very briefly to some people. I was like, look, if Trump was a tyrant or a king or whatever, why would he be trying his best to cut these federal programs? Cutting federal programs, that doesn't sound like a tyrant to me. If anything, a tyrant would want to expand government power at the federal level. He wants to get rid of it. That doesn't sound very... That just doesn't sound very tyrant or kingly or any whatever to me. I mean, it sounds like somebody who just has the same philosophy I do about too much federal government. Too much federal government means too many problems. A lot of things need to be handled at the state level. I would love to see Oregon. If Oregon wants to have programs, that's fine. Have more programs. Seriously. We'll vote on it. But I don't think it's up to, for example, I don't think it's up to other states to pay for the problems down here. You know what I mean? I really do. I think that there needs to be tax dollars. If we're going to try to take care of all these wildfires that happen here in Oregon, or if California wants to take care of their shit, well, they're going to need to maybe tax their people and not because remember, if federal tax dollars are going to other states, that's not really that's taxation without representation. Because I don't want to be paying for California's wildfire problem. Californians need to pay for that shit, right? So California needs to have their own taxes for that shit. And we need to lower federal tax. First off, federal taxation needs to be low. I think if you're going to have a flat tax for federal income tax, it needs to be low. Let the states figure out their shit, right? The states need to figure it out on their own. I mean, like, you know, I just think that centralized government, centralized power is too stupid. There needs to be a dispersion of powers, but the United States can still exist as a United States of America without secession. I'm just saying that most states need to take certain aspects of their state into their own hands by taxing their citizens for, like, if Oregon wants to have their own Department of Education, fine. You know, tax Oregonians. Oregon government needs to tax Oregonians, right? I actually, reason I'm against having a Department of Education in the long run is because I for the life of me do not believe that anybody in Washington, D.C. knows what's best for the kids here in Oregon. I really don't. I think that Oregon needs to have its own Department of Education for this state. I think that Texas needs to have their own Department of Education for their state. It needs to be on the state level for certain things. Not everything needs to be a federal government reliance, right? I mean, am I a crazy person for thinking this? I don't know. But if you think too much, if you think that big federal government's a good thing, man, you've not read a history book. Too much government power is a bad thing. And yeah, I'm mansplaining a little bit, but you know, fuck it. That's just the way I see it. It's the way I believe it. And yeah. So more power to the states and for their own shit. And yeah, look, Oregon will have to tax me more, but at least my federal tax bill will be lower, right? Because at the end of the day, if the federal tax bill is lower because the federal government's not paying for all these other random things that these states have to deal with, states need to pay for their own shit. Right? If there's wildfires in California, I'm sorry. California needs to tax their citizens. Federal government should not tax the citizens. California should have their own funding to be able to pay for all the stuff. You know, we shouldn't be paying. Me as an Oregonian, I shouldn't be paying for those LA wildfires. Californians need to, through taxation. And if any federal money was going to those LA wildfires, I'm actually ashamed of that. Because Oregonians shouldn't be flipping the bill. Texas shouldn't be flipping the bill. If Texas needs to figure out their own shit, they need to tax their citizens. See what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm not saying everything needs to be in the state's hands, but most things do. There are reasons for federal laws, by the way. There are reasons federal laws exist. But not all of them are necessary. And I think a lot of it is just bureaucratic muscle flexing at the end of the day. That's my belief. Anyway, what do you guys think in the chat? Give me a pure honesty, man. I love hearing opinions. You know, if you have a divergent opinion, be divergent. If you have one that aligns, it aligns. If not, don't matter. I'm curious. I'm more curious to see what people got to say about this. Jonathan says 95% of things should be left to the states. Absolutely. And you know what's funny? The founding fathers actually wanted it to be that way. They don't think, because I think that the federal government is supposed to have limited power. If we're going to be all honest with each other, federal government is not meant to have that much power. By all technicality, I don't even think the FBI should exist. Let alone, I don't even think the IRS should really exist either. But anyway, that's just neither here nor there. I don't think the IRS should exist. I don't think a lot of these federal fucking agencies should exist. But, But yeah, I think with the way the world's going, I'm not too sure. Rise of AI should, there's a couple ideas that I've thought of. Should there be a universal basic income? Will there even really be many jobs for human beings to do? Or, you know what I mean? I think there always might be. I think if we bring manufacturing at least back to the U.S., I think it's not necessarily a bad call. You're probably asking, would I ever work a manufacturing job? Yeah, I mean, I worked in a fish plant for a while when I was younger. It wasn't the, it took a week to get used to it, but you get used to anything once you do it enough, and that was always fun. I didn't get paid much though. No. But hey, it's just it depends on a few factors, man. But yeah, the goal is, cost of living's high, especially in a state like this, man. It's tough. Jonathan says, absolutely, there should not be a universal basic income. It's a tough call for me because I think about it this way. If human beings, I mean, I guess I would give human beings more of a chance to start their own businesses. So maybe they could provide their own services and stuff like that to some degree. AI has been very favorable to me in a lot of ways. I know there's a few people against it, and I understand. I respect it. I respect people being against AI. I think it's... I'm not against it personally. I may understand, even though I don't agree with people... even though I don't agree with being against AI, I understand it. Like, I want people to be against it, if they want to be. I don't agree with it, though. But I get it. I understand it. And I support it. You could support something oddly enough and not agree with it. I think people have a right to be against AI. I could see both sides of the argument. I could see the side that feels like AI is taking too many jobs away from people. But then again, if AI can take away those jobs, were they really, was it really something that a human being should do to begin with? And that's a question I've asked myself. AI could take away the job that I currently do. And, would I be butthurt about it? Not necessarily, because in a lot of ways, I'd be just as guilty. I've been using AI to enhance my website. I've been using it to enhance the blog, the realgarza.com website, and in this channel. Like, in a lot of ways, I've used AI. I'm guilty. So if AI took my job, it would kind of be karma or something, or some sort of poetic justice. So I see both sides to the argument. I get it. I mean, unless AI could be a better phone representative, I will say, as long as I could still talk on the phone, I still have a job. As long as I'm still competent with a computer, still have a job. So, I mean, AI, for instance, can do chat and email, but I don't know if AI is equipped to do full phone interaction. It could be, but I still think that normal people who would call into these lines would have problems with it. So they still need human representatives to take those phone calls. So it's interesting. But yeah, this is fun. I am honestly having a really good time. This is a way for me to stretch my legs, and I'm feeling great. But yeah, I've been having a good time though. I wouldn't say things have gotten better at work. If anybody who's wanting an update on that, I would say that I'm still doing the job. Let's just say that. One of the reasons they don't fire me, and I probably would have been fired a long time ago if my stats really sucked. So I can still get fired though. They could find some bullshit reason, and I'm just I'm just going to try not to be a thorn in their side. Hopefully they're not a thorn in my side. They probably will be. I can't expect them to change. Neither do they really expect me to change. So I just have kind of, I've given up expecting anything out of them, right? As far as like, I tried giving them a chance. I'm like, no, I just can't expect people to be what I think that they're going to be, right? I just can't. And what I've been, and it sucks because I think it's been a big problem. Like, for example, I've been expecting my dad to be somebody he's not. My dad is not somebody who is a very supportive guy. I've had to accept that. Expecting him to be something, and it made having a conversation with him a lot better. I'm not gonna. I just can't expect him to be encouraging or supportive. I had a phone call with him earlier. Just, you know, wished him happy Father's Day. Shot the shit with him for a little bit. You know, he's getting older, and I don't know how much time I got left with my dad. So I kind of, in a weird way, buried the hatchet a bit on Father's Day with him. You know, as far as my relationship with my supervisor goes, she can go screw herself. I really don't care. I don't like her. You know, she's not my father, so it's like I could care less. I could honestly, if I never talked to her again, that would be not talking to my supervisor again would be the ideal situation. So if they fired me, honestly, I'd probably see that as more of a blessing. I never thought I'd say that. I never thought I'd say that I'd want to get fired from this job. Like, and it's just a testament that one shitty supervisor, also the client is pretty stupid. Like, I enjoy doing the work because I'm good at it, but at the same time, the way they look at things is so backwards. But yeah, my supervisor's backwards. The client I work for is backwards. Like I said, I'll never reveal what those clients are. I do keep things confidential. I keep it very generalized, so nobody knows what I'm talking about. Nobody knows what company I work for. And if they do, okay, whatever. I don't give a shit. If somebody finds that out, I don't care. But no, I think that sometimes you have to realize you just need to expect a lot out of yourself. You just kind of have to know who people are, and if you start just kind of knowing who they are and expecting less out of them, that's important. And I think it's healthy, you know. And people could say that's kind of a pessimistic attitude, but not really. It's honestly because, like, I can't control them. Why would I even want to? Why do I even bother expecting things out of people if I don't want to control them either. That's the difference. I don't want to control people. I really don't. I prefer people left me alone sometimes. Like, it's people who are really obnoxious or really mean. You know, well, I'd prefer if they left me alone, sure. But I also know that's not going to happen too. So you got to defend yourself in this life and see what happens. Yep. Now, it's really fun to be out here at the park. I'm really enjoying this. I get a little sunshine on my head, though. I'm feeling it on my head. But stealing my girlfriend's Sprites, though. I enjoy stealing these Sprites, even though I bought them. So they are meant for her, but sometimes if I'm just wanting to hydrate out in the sun, at least I'm staying hydrated, baby, if you're still watching. Still staying hydrated. So I only brought one. Don't worry. I try to keep it. If I do have one, I only keep it to one a day for the Sprites, because I do care about it. I love my girlfriend a lot. Like, she's the best. I do feel bad for her a little bit because I can be kind of embarrassing, absolutely. But I really do, honestly. My heart's in the right place. I do love her. I think she knows that. Obviously, I know that she knows that, and it's just I try not to be too much of an embarrassment. But at the end of the day, I am what I am. So I'm embarrassing, but hey, as long as I'm successful, I could be as embarrassing as I want as long as I end up being successful. So. And it's paid off, as embarrassing as I can be. This is fun. I don't think, like I said, I don't think I can go to those rallies anymore, those anti-Trump rallies. They're just a lot of toxic people there. I would say, here's the thing. I'm not going to generalize too much. I would say if I was to go on the toxic rating, probably 10%. But 10% of toxic people is enough for me to be like, that's a gathering I don't want to be a part of. You know what I mean? And I don't like a lot of group gatherings, if I'm going to be quite honest, even if it's a group gathering of something that I am in support of. I just think that groups of people can be very deadly, dangerous, and a little bit scary. Groups of people scare me. It's just something. But yeah, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, what Jonathan said, there should be no universal basic income. I'm not sure. Because what does happen when the world gets a little too automated and there's no jobs for humans to do? You know, how can humans still be productive to society? And that is a question. You know, I mean, humans obviously we can still do construction, manufacturing, even though most manufacturing is now automated through the use of robotics. So it's a wild process, man, especially like computer chip manufacturing. Look, automation's a good thing. It's honestly a net positive to society. I really do. You know, I think that the people, for instance, who were against robotics when robotics were taking manufacturing jobs, for instance, you know, if we look at history, we can see the same patterns, right? So the same people who are against AI now were also, you know, the same types of people back in the day, the types of people who were against maybe robotics in manufacturing, thinking it's going to take away jobs, it's going to make things worse. And honestly, it may. It may force out artists who are not good artists, right? So like people were saying stuff about like the digital art and stuff like that, and taking the jobs or whatever, and all that shit. It's just like the way I look at it is pretty simple. Like if AI takes my job, it takes my job, dude. I don't care. You know, I mean, it sucks. I'm a little butthurt by it at the end of the day, but you know, and I would be butthurt, but I'm not going to be like anti-AI all of a sudden. No, I expected it. I expect this shit to happen. But overall, I think you know, we're living in an interesting world, and it's fascinating. You know, but yeah, this is great. I feel like I don't know, I have my hands folded like this. But fun thing, my buddies Billy and Nathan, we busted into the Final Fantasy Commander decks. Billy ended up going to one of the local card shops and getting the Cloud, the Final Fantasy Cloud Commander deck, and the Final Fantasy 7 specific one, I should say. And it was really cool, really neat. I didn't play the deck perfectly. There were some things that I could have done with the deck when I was playing them that I kind of failed to notice. But it was really fun playing with it anyway. I came close to actually winning. We all kind of, because we play free for all against each other. So it's like, you know, it's 1v1v1. It's all of us against each other. Really fun. I had a blast with it, to be honest. It was cool. So really, I want to thank my boy White Eagle for bringing that deck over and getting that from the card shop. It was cool. Probably be playing with that specific commander deck far more often, because it's just very fun to play with. Now I love the Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering sets that are coming out. I know it's a little bit of a change of topic. I know we were talking about like different political theories and shit, so I'm kind of changing the topic up a little bit while I'm at the park. But yeah, no, really cool, really fun to play with those Final Fantasy cards. I thought something that was pretty funny that my girlfriend had said. I had texted, sent her a couple videos, and it was really neat because she's like, oh, I forgot she's a big Kingdom Hearts fan. And it was one of the funniest things. I laughed so hard when she said it. I told the guys the message. We all laughed because it was really funny, because we've all played, you know, Final Fantasy to some degree. In that, I'm a huge Final Fantasy 7 nut though, like straight up. And but when she said that, yeah, I know who Sephiroth is. I've played Kingdom Hearts. I just thought it was funny. We laughed. Not even in a bad way. It was just cute. It was like a really cute thing, because I forget that her exposure to Final Fantasy is through Kingdom Hearts, and she's never played the like Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9 or any of the games, you know, that I played. And I keep forgetting that Kingdom Hearts has like every single Final Fantasy character under the sun. And I've not really played. I've never fully played Kingdom Hearts. I played a little bit. My stepbrothers back in the day had the game, so I kind of played them a little bit, but that was about it. not much playing them, but yeah, it's funny. It was just a cute little comment. She's like, "Yeah, I know Sephiroth. Play Kingdom Hearts." I was like, we thought we appreciated the comment though. It was good. But yeah, baby, if you're still watching, you need to play Final Fantasy 7. It's not everybody's cup of tea, because not everybody likes turn-based. RPGs. It definitely is. You have to be. I don't know. You have to be a certain type of person to appreciate them. I think I'm just one of those weirdos. I love turn-based RPGs. I like kind of thinking about how my next move is going to be. I need a little bit of time to think about it. So like with turn-based, you get that time that you need, and it's kind of cool. But no, my girlfriend is very sweet and supportive, and I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky. I just thought that compliment was just so adorable, though. Not a compliment, sorry. The comment was super adorable that she had, so I love it. Made me happy. I need to play through Kingdom Hearts, though. I realized. It's good. Oh, we got 9 people. We got 6 likes. Hey, guys, make sure you guys like the video. Subscribe to the channel, please. Well, preferably just like the video if you can. You don't have to subscribe, but the more likes we have, the better, and helps us out on the algorithm, helps us disperse the show to more people. We want to be out there, and so doing this shit's fun. We're almost to the 4,000 watch hour plateau, which is really cool. And we've been, this channel's been working. We've been working our ass off of this channel. I mean, it's just me and the AI working on this. And I've got a lot of people working on this too. I got to give a lot of credit to Tim Smith for his contributions to the channel. It's a big deal, man. I appreciate you, bud. I wasn't sure if I'd ever get monetized, and I still am not sure because they may not approve me for watch time ads. But at least I'll have the watch time hours to see if I do. And, hopefully I get approved for it. We'll see. I think there are going to be some videos that don't necessarily get monetized just because sometimes I'm a bit of a potty mouth, But I think it's going to be great. I think, sharing the ad revenue for the YouTube partner program is going to be interesting. I don't know how much money I'll make, but I'm still going to try to drive home exclusive memberships and things like that for the channel. So Bob25 says Trump should be impeached. I mean, whatever you think about Trump, I mean, I don't think so. But hey, to each their own. To each their own. I respect it. Wow. So we have 10 votes in the poll. Do you think Trump wants to be a king? 50% of you say yes, he is evil and orange. 50% of you also say no, people take him too literally. And so we're definitely split, just like America in the election, very split. Make sure you guys like the video. Please like the video. I mean, I'm begging you. I'm on my knees. I'm begging, please like the video. If you can. I appreciate the likes. But yeah, no, I think, no King's protest, I have to admit, was a little bit tough to go to. Some of these people, man, are just so nasty. Like in the way that they say things, and I was very much being a jokester. I wasn't playing any pranks on anybody. I was, like I said, I was very polite. I didn't even wear anything threatening. I had a very, very basic blue shirt. I had my cargo pants on, for God's sakes. I had these shitty cargo pants on. And I had my little running shoes on. That was about it. And I had my little tripod with my camera. I do think that I think a lot of them were not approaching me intentionally because I think that when the cameras are on, they don't want to be seen doing terrible things. But if the cameras were off, I think a lot of these people would have tried to attack me. I really do. I sincerely believe that. And so I kept the live video going. I was like, well, if people are going to be, people want to accuse me of anything, they'll see the whole thing. It's all there. They'll see me rapping about Joe Biden and thinking the Democrat Party sucks. Then it does suck. It's a shitty party. Republican Party sucks too, by the way. Just to let you know, I'm an equal opportunity hater. And both parties have sucked ass. They have too many lifelong politicians that need to get the fuck out of the office. And I hate lifelong politicians, man. If you're gonna be honest with me, it's one of the reasons I chose Trump. He's not the perfect fit, but he's not a lifelong politician. I do think he's a bit corrupt. Don't get me wrong. I think everybody is who's in that position. But yeah, and I'll choose. I just don't want lifelong politicians. Say no to lifelong politicians, man. I think that's really the key at the end of the day. We got 43% battery here, and we've been filming for about an hour and 19 minutes. You know, not bad at all. Sorry about that. I had to reconnect. My apologies. You know, honestly, for the most part, one thing I love about Mint Mobile is they say they're on the back end of the data plans, like not data plans, but on the back end of data, like low priority data for the towers. But honestly, I honestly get such good reception here for most stuff. And I want to thank Ryan Reynolds, by the way, for the unlimited phone carrier plan. Thank you, Ryan Reynolds. Appreciate you, G-Dog, and you're the GOAT. But yeah, the show's going well. This is just honestly great. You know, a lot of people are, obviously today's Father's Day, so a lot of people coming to the park today. It's definitely seeing a lot of park goers and stuff. I think it's great. So we got 11 votes in. Let's take a look here. 11 people. Let's see. 55% say no. 45% say yes. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel, please. The more likes we have, the better. So like, and we need more. We need more, man. I'm a beggar for the like. I'm begging on my knees, begging, please. I'm begging you. Oh, but yeah. It's good to be doing the show, though. I want to thank you guys for joining in, man. You guys are helping the watch time hours. More people we have viewing, the better. Trying to get, like I said, get more people to like the video, push us higher on the YouTube algorithm. Like I said, we're always trying to expand the audience. So, like I always say, more likes, more subscribes. You know, subscribe to the channel if you can. Like I said, if you can like the video, that's great. Just whatever you can do. Liking the video, luckily, is a fairly easy process, and so appreciate you guys big time for doing what you can. No, I will say, you know, doing YouTube has definitely changed my life. That's for sure. I put a lot of work into this channel. I really have, and it's been emotional. YouTube, I will say, a few years ago was very tough. You know, this channel's been through a lot, man. A lot of shit that YouTube's thrown at me. But you know, I think that I've kind of earned it. You know, I've definitely put out better content. The content's gotten a little bit better. You know, it's not perfect, but it's better. And yeah. Let's see. Chuckleberry says someone at one of the No Kings protests had a sign that said, "There's only one king in this country, and his name is LeBron." Oh God. That's pathetic, dude. LeBron is the flopper. The more I've watched his highlights, I'm still a LeBron James fan. I think he belongs on the Mount Rushmore of basketball players. But at the same time, the Jordan versus LeBron debate is, I think it's overblown. I think we need to stop saying that somehow that LeBron's better than Jordan. I just don't think that's the case. I think that LeBron has been the least clutch. I think LeBron has actually had better teams, oddly enough, than Michael Jordan. I feel like Michael Jordan, you know, he did have Scottie Pippen. Don't get me wrong. But then again, LeBron had you guys like Kyrie. He had Dwayne Wade. He had a good number two. So it's not like LeBron had no number twos with him. You know, like, obviously were any of them like Scottie Pippen level? I mean, you could argue that Kyrie is a pretty high caliber player. You could also say that Dwayne Wade is a great number two to have. I mean, honestly. And, you know, you have those incredible guys next to you.
he had good casts of people, especially Miami was not perfect. Don't get me wrong, but like I could say that Jordan took some teams to different places, right? Let's see. Thrizzler says, "What do you think about Trump?" So I firmly believe that is. I know people say Trump is divisive, but honestly, I think people are divisive naturally. I think people just want to bitch. People want to get mad at something, and that's pretty much the extent of it. My idea of all this is that people just want to get mad about shit, and they want to get angry. And yeah, am I angry? Yeah, so I'll admit it. I'm a bit of a rager. I get raged. I get enraged. I'm human, but I don't get violent. I don't. I mean, I'll get violent on inanimate objects. Don't get me wrong. I'll punch my computer chair. But I'll never actually like get violent on somebody else. Like I actually have restraint. A lot of these people that are at these protests, there was a couple people who looked like they were about to fucking deck me in the face. They had some fucking threatening glares, dude. Like they wanted some blood. And it was telling. And this is exactly the reason I don't vote Democrat. I just don't. I can't. I can't ethically justify voting for Democrats ever. I think the party's too corrupt. I mean, it's just like Republicans. I voted for Trump because I felt like he was the least Republican candidate that's ever run for Republican. Now, there are exceptions to the rule. If like Andrew Yang ever ran again, okay. I would vote Democrat if Andrew Yang ran again. Like, he's the one, I'd be fine with that. But other than that, the Democrat Party's lost me. I walked away from that corrupt, disgusting party a long time ago. And for good reason. And whether people want to admit it or not, I am a minority. Not in the sense I'm a majority now. But I'm talking about ethnically, I'm a minority. And they're losing more minorities every day. Because it's mainly because the whole Democrat Party is being run by a bunch of PC Karens, if we're going to be honest. Anyway, Tim Smith says, I've been away for a few days. Did they cancel Burger King? I'm door dashing an M&M blast right now. Let's see. Yeah, no, it's okay, man. I know you've been probably, watching like the Stanley Cup and stuff. I have not been watching hockey at all. But, you've probably been busy, man. And, hey, things get busy, brother. Things get busy. I get it. There are times where I'm not live streaming or I'm not doing anything. I get it. So sometimes you gotta have that time away, brother. Never a problem. But yeah, no, DoorDash and an M&M blast right now. Hell yeah. Oh shit, that's right, because you were at the Smashing Pumpkins concert in Toronto. That's right. So Tim Smith said, just got back from Toronto. We'll send you my PowerPoint. Hell yeah, dude. Quick question, Tim. Do you care if I actually, when I get that PowerPoint, do you care if I share any of the photos in the PowerPoint with the people? If you give me permission on that. If you give me permission to do that, I'll absolutely do it, man. Because that'd be fun to share, man. I enjoy looking at the photos that you do whenever you go to like certain concerts and shit. Oh, okay. Tim Smith says, no, you can share. Yep, I'll email. Oh, sweet. Okay, I can share. Sweet. Okay, cool. So you guys are going to see Smashing Pumpkins photos. I think Tim was in Toronto watching the Pumpkins, and probably, if I remember correctly, I think he may have mentioned something about the Hockey Hall of Fame or something, or no, I think you did that already. I can't remember. Either way, my memory sucks sometimes. It could be a little bit of a pain in the rump. But hell yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. But man, dude, I will say, Tim, that No Kings protest, man, that was a rough one, dude. I don't think I could go back to another one of those anti-Trump rallies, man. Just a lot of the people there, I'm not gonna lie, they were, how they treated me for honestly just wearing a MAGA hat and being a goofball. I was being a goofball, like through and through. My intentions were not really of malice. I like to troll, don't get me wrong. I love healthy trolling, by the way. But if people are going to get angry at me try to hit me and then blame, well, maybe not try to hit me, but blame me for them getting angry, I'm sorry, you're giving me a little too much power. I don't have that much power. If I'm going to be honest, if you seeing me in a goddamn mega hat makes you enraged, man, okay, you need to check yourself in a mental institution. You're the fucking problem. And yeah, people will be like, you're victim blaming. How am I victim blaming? I have not victimized anybody. And if anything, I was the victim of a lot of bullying by these fucking young punk ass kids. And yeah, I don't feel bad about telling them to eventually fuck off, because they kept telling me to fuck off. So I was like, no, fuck you guys suck. And they don't realize that, like, the way they act, man, they want people to see their point of view. Fuck, I ain't gonna see their point of view at all. In fact, if anything, I'm going to be more of a detractor to their shitty point of view. And I'm more than happy to never vote Democrat again, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, you want to lose a voter for life? Seriously, you want to lose a voter for life? Act like these spoiled brats. Seriously, you'll keep me away from the Democrat Party. I ain't never voting your guys' way ever. You guys are done. I mean, burnt too many bridges, man. I just don't like the fact that Democrat Party wants more federal government and they want more communism. Fuck that, dude. Fuck that. I hate collectivism with a passion. It's one of the worst things. Fuck. I don't really hate a lot of things. Look, I'm a hater sometimes. There's things that I think deserve hate. Communism and socialism deserve all the hate in the world. You deserve to learn them. I think you should learn about them. But they're really dumb ideas at the end of the day. And I have no problem saying that. I just think that they're just bad ideas. And it forces human beings to be something that they're not. And that's the problem. Any system that forces human beings to change the nature of human nature, it's going to fail. The only way you could do that is if you modify human DNA. You would have to modify human beings to be more compatible with that system. And that's the problem. The system doesn't work around the human being. The human being is not meant to work around the system. The system is meant to work around what a human being is and make it towards more optimal to be a human being amongst other human beings. I mean, it makes sense to me, but you know, whatever. This is why I don't vote Democrat. They're too collective. I don't want to vote for the Borg. The Democrat Party is the Borg in my eyes. They're basically no different than the Borg. They're collective in their nature. They all believe the same bullshit. And yeah, fuck that noise, dude. I will never vote Democrat. Like, I made it very clear. I can't vote Democrat ever again. The party would have to change on a fundamental level so much. It would have to stop. They would have to stop with the fucking socialism. They'd have to stop with the communism. Those are two bad collectivist ideas that deserve to be, first off, studied. They're both shit ideas, though. They're both shit ideas. You can study shit ideas. I think it's good to study bad ideas, because then you get an idea of how bad the idea really is once you study. It's like Bitcoin. The more I learned about Bitcoin, the more shitty I realized it was. I was like, this is a bullshit Ponzi scheme. The more I learned about it. And the more you learn about something, the more you can reveal whether it's a good idea or a bad idea. But you have to take the time to look at it and then see the history of it as well. It may look good on paper, but is it good in practice? That is the question, fundamentally, that one person has to ask. Anyway, we got the Rizzler? Oh, shit. Is this the Rizzler? Are we talking about the Rizzler from the Costco videos? We talking about the double chunk chocolate cookie? We talking about that? But you're saying, what's your thoughts? You're asking, what's your thoughts on Trump's tariffs? There's a lot of controversy around that. If I'm going to be honest, I have no problem with it. I actually, when he was running and he started talking about tariffs, that actually was appealing to me. I looked up the history of it, and the history of tariffs is not a bad idea. I mean, there are tariffs that we impose already, but honestly, the tariffs that were imposed by the other countries were a lot higher than what we were imposing on them. So it's like, it was kind of like, it wasn't a very fair situation. Very fair situation. You know, so to kind of balance it out, it was, you know, raising tariffs wasn't exactly the worst idea. Plus, we need to, I'm sorry, if I'm going to be honest, we need to pay down the national debt. The national debt in the U.S. is so high that it's just like it blows my mind. It really blows my mind how high the national debt is. I don't know if it's going down anytime soon, man. So Tim Smith says, okay, I sent you a link to my PowerPoint from OneDrive. I'll have to. I don't know. I'm going to try to check it out tonight. It depends on how I'm feeling when I get home if I decide to do some streaming. But I think I'll probably. I think chances are I'm pretty 90% sure I'll be streaming again when I get home at a certain point. But yeah, it depends on how much I want to stream. Let's see here. We got Stocks Family Farm. My boy TJ, by the way. My boy TJ. Stocks Family Farm. Make sure you guys subscribe to this man, by the way. He's really cool. Very kind soul, man. Actually, I was talking about you earlier, man, about how you and I were like the only mega dudes at the whole rally, which was really fun. I think it was really fun, man. Just you and I being the counter protesters to all of it, man. It was really an honor meeting you, dude. Really fun. But yeah, make sure you guys subscribe to Stocks Family Farm. The reason I'm trying to get more people to subscribe to you is just because, one, I wouldn't mind seeing you make money on YouTube, brother. I know that your whole goal is not to be famous or anything like that. You don't necessarily have to be, but you can. I think you're a very insightful individual, dude. You're smart. You're a smart cookie. So I think more people would honestly be benefiting from hearing from you, man. So I want anybody who subscribes, make sure that you guys subscribe to Stocks Family Farm. Pretty beef. Well, not beefy. I don't know. I'm beefy. I'm too fat for my own good. But like my man TJ, honestly, just has a very keen mind, and I enjoyed actually hearing what he had to say. So, and he makes a lot of cool farm content on his channel too. So you guys gotta check that shit out. Kind of almost like Yager's. My boy Yager's, Jim from Yager's Farm. He's a member of the channel as well. Honestly, subscribe to him as well. He's a pimp daddy. But the Rizzler says, thanks for the stream. Peace out. Thank you, Rizzler. I appreciate it. Try to answer as best as I can, where I can. Let's see. Stocks Family Farm says, thanks, man. I appreciate that. You were a great man yourself. Oh, thank you, brother. Yeah, no, honestly, if anything, you treated people with far more respect than I did. I mean, I wasn't being disrespectful to anybody, but I was rapping about Joe Biden quite a bit. Not, well, in a gross way, I guess, but it angered some people. But if people can't take a joke, and it's clear that I'm joking, that when I was doing the Joe Biden raps and shit, but people took me way too seriously, and these are people who are taking way too many things too seriously in their lives, and and the problem is these are all every person that I talked to, they were all people who watch the news, basically the mainstream media, and it was when I heard that I realized that I'm not dealing with sane people, and this is a bit of a critique. When people are watching the news far too much, they have a very fear-based mindset at a certain point, and I think that watching too much news creates a fear-based mindset that gets you honestly a little cooped out, and it's not necessarily the end of the world if somebody's watching too much news, but I think it's good to take a detox from the news. Without a doubt. And I think that a lot of these people here at the anti-Trump thing were too busy listening to the CNNs, the MSNBCs, and all that shit. And, they were getting, in my opinion, a very one-sided view. I think that they should be watching both, if they're going to be honest. So if you're gonna watch MSNBC or CNN, if you're really that much of a newsgoer, you should watch Fox News. I think Fox News sucks, by the way. I think all the mainstream media news outlets suck. I don't watch any of them because I can't. I just can't. I can't stand mainstream media at all. Let's see. Stocks Family Farm said we should connect in person again sometime, but I'm at the river with the family, so I'm gonna get back to it, man. Hey, you have fun at the river, bro. I'm gonna probably get a little more sunshine out here in just a bit. Let's see. Yeah, it's a great looking day out here. Honestly, one of the better days I've seen. And got birds behind me. This is great. You got birds. You got nature everywhere. Hopefully a squirrel climbs up my back or something. But yeah, hey guys, anybody on here currently, make sure you guys like the video. Please, I'll ask it, please like the video. We're trying to really beef up the YouTube algorithm a little bit and trying to expand the presence on YouTube and really seeing what that algorithm allows us to do. See what type of people we can reach, and the more people we can reach, the better. Yeah, more subscribers, more opportunities, man. More eyeballs, and also, honestly, more ability for me to teach investing. Now, look, I don't really like to talk about politics very much, but sometimes you have to do what you have to do to grow the channel. So from time to time, I do like to go to protests. I think I'm going to stop going to those protests, though. Like I said, a lot of toxic behavior there. You know, I wouldn't say everybody was. I'd say 10%, but I still think 10% of people being very toxic towards you is enough of a time to say no, that it's a bad environment. These people are not inclusionary. They're very exclusionary if you don't believe what they believe. I was willing to talk to them. Like, there were a couple people who actually were willing to talk to me. I was like shocked. I was shocked, but like, so I'm not damning everybody who was there. What I'm saying is 10% of the people were very toxic and shitty to me, and that was enough to be like, I'm sorry. I'm voting against you every time. So if those loony bin people, if those crazy ass people are gonna vote Democrat, I'm not voting Democrat. Democrat Party would have to make a major shift in order for me to actually vote for them. Ever. Like I said, when I was young, I voted for Democrat. I'm not doing that anymore. I don't even want to vote Republican. I think we need to take third party seriously. There are alternatives to the Republican and Democrat Party. Are the other alternatives better? I don't know. But honestly, I would love to see the Senate and the House a little more divided. I want it to be harder to pass legislation because I think more rules, more problems. There needs to be real debate in the House and the Senate. So having just Democrats and Republicans, having one party take over, that's scary. I think that people need to take the third party seriously, right? And I would love to see third party regain its legs. I'm very pro third party, by the way, because I'm not a fan of the Democrats. I'm not a fan of the Republicans either. Both parties suck ass. I'm really pro third party. So, and it sucks that it's become so one or the other that you kind of have to vote one or the other. And how does the mental shift change? I don't know. Have we opened Pandora's box by making things so bipartisan? Or not bipartisan, sorry. Yeah, I mean, like, you're either one or the other, And it sucks because both sides kind of think the other side's kind of evil, and that's not the way it should be. I don't believe that at all. I don't believe here's the thing, if you're a Democrat, you're not evil. If you're a Republican, you're not evil. I do believe that fundamentally speaking, it just depends on your ideals. It depends on your thought process, your train of thought. It matters. It matters. So you're not, having ideologies, having beliefs does not inherently make you an evil person. It does not. And believe what you want. I think at the end of the day, believing what you want to believe is, whether anybody agrees with it or not, you should have some courage in your conviction. So I want to encourage people to believe what you want. I'm going to say my piece. I'm on my soapbox, obviously. This is my soapbox. This is my version of a soapbox. It's a soap opera and a soapbox. It's both. It's a soap opera box. It's a very dramatic. I'm a dramatic man. I'm an emotional man. I'm so emotional. Oh. But yeah. Trying to think if there's any other things I want to do while I'm here. Well, how much battery do we have left? We got 33%. I didn't bring my charger or anything. I just had my phone pretty much fully charged overall. Oh, nice. I see that Tim sent me the email. Pretty stoked. By the way, really cool. If you guys want to contact the Michael Garza show, you can now a lot easier. So there is a contact us form. And what's really cool is you can kind of contact us in a weird way anonymously. So I wouldn't say it's fully anonymous because I do believe that your IP address is reported, but you get to send me a message. It will go to my main email, of course, but you'll get to send me a message, and I will do my best to respond to it when I can, which is really great. But yeah, it's a bit of a contact us form. It gives us a lot of advantages, and yeah, I think it's great. I am going to try to make some official emails for the for the website. I was going to do michael@realgarza.com. I was going to have like a contact us email as well, specifically, but we do have a form that you can contact us at. We try not to have a specific email that people could just email, because if people are going through the contact us form, it's a little more formal. I am going to try to put some categories on the contact us form as well, so that that way I know what the subject is about, whether it's a show idea, whether it's some sort of data removal bullshit, that sort of thing. I'll figure it out though. I'll try to figure out a good. The contact form is already up, but it's a very basic form. Just ask for your first and last name, and it kind of prevents my inbox from being spammed and scammed a lot. So I kind of like that in many ways. So if I can at least keep my inbox from being scammed and spammed, that's kind of what I'm looking for. Trying to avoid that. So having a contact us form makes it a lot easier. Not publicly displaying the email on the website, very easy. But yeah, realgarza.com. You guys can check out the contact us form is actually on the footer of the website. But we also have a link to the contact us form in the description now of the YouTube video. So you guys have plenty of opportunity to reach out to me. And I'm very excited. It's a very exciting time. But yeah, the show's growing to new heights. And if we do get approved for watch time ads, that's checkmate. If we don't, though, I'm still working my ass off, though, no matter what, on affiliate marketing. I want to be a success story there. So if I can become a success story on affiliate marketing and become better at it, I can then try my best to help you guys become better at it, for free. That's all I really want to do. I want to just try to train people to do better, to think better, to feel better. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, not a financial advisor, none of those things, but... well, we got a lot of people at the park here. It's really cool. Being able to overview the park on a little hill is really kind of nice, and being able to see everybody, I think it's kind of cool, I guess. But it's a little different. But hey, guys, like the video. You want to. You want to like it. I know you're looking at it. You're eyeballing that like button. You'll be like, boom. I know what you're doing. You better like the video. You better subscribe. You know what I'm going to do? Throw the shit. I didn't break shit, did I? Oh. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit some pine cones, all right? Here we go. Oh, that went kind of far. All right. All right, hold on. Let me get a little more air in this. Hold on. All right. Well, shit. Hold on. I don't know if that's necessarily going to work, but it may make it a little bit better. Hold on. Let's see here. Yeah. Hit some pine cones real quick. All right, here we go. See? Oh, ground rolled over. I need to bring my little plastic bat out here. If you want to hit pine cones, you gotta do it right. This ain't gonna work. I could use a stick though. I can just play a little stick ball. You guys want to play stick ball? See if I can find a twig. Can I find one that's big enough? That's the question. One moment. Oh, I dropped the bottle. All right. We need one more pine cone hit here. Oh. Strike one. All right, here we go. Ready? Oh. It's bullshit. Bullshit. All right, but yeah, we're we're ready to roll. Ready to roll here. So you're probably thinking to yourself, why am I watching this guy? Why do I watch this weirdo at the park who likes to just still chill out in the park, you know? What am I doing? What am I doing in my life? Oh. But yeah, overall, I think we're on the right path. The show's going really well, and 54% of you say no. 46% of you say yes. Pretty split so far to 13 votes. You know, we don't really have a pure 50-50 split. It is interesting to see how you people vote. And when I say, and I don't mean you people offensively, I just mean all of you people on YouTube. Jesus. But no, I think, you know, I came in with pretty pure intentions. And the whole video is there for anybody to watch. I mean, the live stream is all there. It was fun. I had a real blast with it, and you know, it's fun to be a counter protester any day you can. You know, counter protesting's fun, bro. Anybody who wants to counter protest, you know, honestly, if a lot of those people at that No Kings rally were at the Trump rally, you know, that happened afterwards, I think that'd be pretty honorable if we're going to be honest. I think you should have counter protesters wherever you go, and if people want to counter protest even at the Trump one, they should. And I think, you know, the Trump people were pretty nice to anybody who was still left over. Shockingly, you know. I don't know. I just think there's a certain kind of person at this point who votes Democrat, and I think there's a certain kind of person at this point who votes Republican. I think a lot of people who vote Republican were just fed up with, you know, the way things are. And, you know, I don't think Republicans are necessarily evil people. I don't think Democrats are evil people either. I think they're people with their certain type of philosophies, and sometimes their philosophies just annoy me. I don't want anything to do with it. And the philosophies are bad. So, but, you know, I still love the people in my life who vote that way. I love the people in my life who still think a certain way. I'm not going to go hating them. I just hate ideas, you know. I think if the idea becomes your identity, that's where it becomes a real big issue. I don't think an idea should become. I don't think a certain ideology should become your identity. I think it's a bad thing. So try to avoid that, I think. But overall, you know, what can you do? But yeah. But it's fun doing the show. I think, you know, honestly, thank you everybody on the live chat. It was really cool to see Stock's Family Farm on here as well. Man, I appreciate you being there at the little protest. Man, that was really cool. It would have been funny though, because just to be the only one, you know, that would have been fun. But I honestly would rather have had, you know, it's nice to have another person hanging out, you know. So I think it's real fun. But yeah, trying to think if there's anything else I want to talk about. You know, I should do more of these stand-up episodes where I'm actually standing up in nature and really just kind of talking and doing my thing. And back up a little bit. Back up. But yeah, I'm not gonna do any Star Wars kid stuff. Oh, I'm not gonna be like that. But yeah, I did a lot of ass shaking though when I was at that event, shaking my butt quite a bit, and it's pretty fun. You know, shockingly, I didn't get attacked or anything, but yeah, there was definitely a lot of boomers there, that's for sure. You know, there were younger people who showed up, which was shocking, but it was pretty much a boomer fest. And, you know, that's kind of what you expect at that kind of rally, and because I think most people are just done with the Democratic Party, if we're going to be honest. And, you know, there's still some people who are louder and more annoying. and they'll claim to be the majority, but they're not. You know, they're just not. And yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. Well, let's see. We're down to 28% battery. We still got a little more gas left in the tank here. And keep going. We'll just go until the battery's totally done. But I am getting a little chilly, so I'm gonna move the camera a little bit over this way, so we can. Still want to be in the sun, but at the same time, I don't want to. I think this makes a little more sense. Here we go. Yeah. Now I gotta see if I move it over here. I might even move the show over here. Let's get over here a little bit. Yeah, here we go. That's perfect. All right, see, this is a little better angle. We'll finish the show off on this bench over here. But yeah, get a little cray, getting a little wild. So we got three total people watching. I like it. Yeah, as you can see, sun's right behind me, so that makes it a lot easier. I can stand up, be able to talk to you guys, and oh, it's nice, man. I've been using a weighted, not a weighted ball, but one of those exercise balls as a chair. So when I'm working on shit, man, I'm way more productive. I'm getting an ab workout and feeling like I'm getting a six-pack, which is wild. I never thought I'd say that, but yeah, using the weighted balls, man, is nice. I definitely been using that 8 hours a day. I've been seeing some results and feeling a little better, you know, feeling like I'm not gonna have a heart attack. I feel like if you sit down in a chair for too long, man, it becomes kind of detrimental to your health. I mean, there's a lot of studies that show that. I think sitting on an exercise ball, I don't know I'm not a doctor, obviously, but I think that sitting if you have to be in a job where you're sitting down for 8 hours a day, I think you should be able to use an exercise ball. And that's kind of, you know, and luckily I work from home, so I just use an exercise ball as my main chair, and it's keeping me a little more in shape. I'm losing weight, which is nice. I'm turning a lot of my fat into muscle, which is cool. So I'm loving it. So Tim Smith says, this is the longest I've seen someone talk to themselves in the park without getting busted by Alex Rosen. That's a good one. That is a good one. But yeah, overall, I think you know, the show is getting a lot better over time, and you know, being able to do this show has been an honor. Seriously, I'm trying to find a good spot where I can. There we go. Where the sun's not totally shining on me. I don't know. I'm still trying to get that nice shaded area. But yeah, no, really fun. I really enjoy doing these shows in the park. This is funny because I'm standing up and talking to the camera. I have that on a tripod, obviously, and it's funny. I'm so cheap that I got my tripod when I got it. I got it from Goodwill. I got it for like $10 or something, $9. And this thing has served me really, really well. The one thing I'll say about it, I still have the price tag. It's like sitting on it. It's really funny. It just shows you that I'm not afraid to show people how cheap I am. That I get most of my accessories and equipment if it's good equipment, except for electronics. I never get used computers, and I try to avoid getting used phones as well. Anytime I get like a phone or a computer, it's got to be brand new. That's the only way I'll do it. Outside of it, though, anything else can be used. Like this tripod, obviously a used tripod. Mainly accessories. I'm fine with getting used accessories. There are some things I want them to be high quality when I get them. You know, so I'll get like a little phone stand or whatever. I usually try to keep the phone stands fairly good, but you know, like I try to get a new one from like Amazon or Walmart, stuff like that. But yeah, Tim's comment was pretty good. Oh man, so we got 13 votes on here. Let's take a look at the upvote real quick. We got 54% say no, people take them too seriously. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm gonna do like go a little captain in you and putting my leg up real quick, which is kind of a creepy gesture to do at the park. Like I said, I love this area of the park. Nobody goes up here. Like every time I'm up here, it's very rare that anybody actually shows up on this spot. So it's pretty dope, and I love it. But doing the show up here, man, it's a little bit different, a little bit strange. Surprised nobody's trying to like do an interview. I would love an impromptu interview. If somebody just came up to me and said, "Hey, care if I start talking?" I'd be like, yeah, go for it, man. Because I'm pretty accepting, man. Like, I love talking to random people. It's fun. I love it. I may like totally disagree with them and get a little bit pissed, but like, I never get violent. Like that's the one. I never get violent towards anybody. Like I'll get a little bit pissy, but. Anthony said, "Where is this? Where is this at? Or where is that at?" Are you talking about where I'm at? I'm down here at the park, man. I'm right here. So like so here, let me give you a better angle. So you know where like the little stage is? So you see the stage down there, right? And then you see the porta potties and shit, and you know this is where I'm at currently. So I'm up on that little hill, and then you see the swimming pool and shit. Swimming pool over there. So and I'm just basically plopped out on one of these benches here, and that's pretty much where I'm at the moment. Yeah, I'm just chilling out at Mingus, man. Easy spot to be. I love doing the show here at Mingus because I'm out in nature when I'm doing it. So I'm next to trees. Honestly, I'm a nature boy deep down, dude. I'm like Ric Flair. Whoo. But you know, I love being out in nature. I like standing up when I do a show. So I was like, let's go outside, you know. And you know, because I have unlimited data, I could do these types of streams all day long in a Juicy Man thong. But let's see, Mingus Savage. Oh, okay, yes sir, badass. Yeah, absolutely, man. I think it's great. I love doing these outdoor shows where I'm just chilling out and. You know, it's kind of a post-game reaction. You know, doing a post-game reaction to the anti-Trump rally yesterday. I've talked about it a little bit. Yeah, it was cool. I did sing "Happy Birthday" a couple times to Donald Trump for Donald Trump yesterday, which ruffled some feathers, but that's okay. It was his birthday, so it's like, you know. I love how the Democrats always said like things like, "You got to respect the presidency." You know, you gotta, I loved it when like Democrats are in office for president and like they're like, oh, you gotta respect the presidency or whatever. You gotta respect whoever is the president. It's like, yeah, you guys barely respect Donald Trump, man. So, yeah, nobody's respecting my boy, dude. And so I don't know. I think Joe Biden sucks though. All I know is that I don't really care. The thing is, it's not like, see, the beauty is the president is not a king. And that's the beauty. You can badmouth whoever you want. You can say whatever you want. You are allowed to criticize public figures, by the way. And yeah, I just feel like the mainstream media is painting a picture of him as a tyrant or somebody who is disappearing people. I don't think that's the case. I really don't think that's the case. If anything, Trump gets the most dissent and hate out of the history of anybody. You see, the reason Trump won the popular vote is because people got so sick of the mainstream media telling them and lying to them that he's a criminal and all this shit, and people were pissed. So they were like, hey, you know, we hate the mainstream media, so whoever the mainstream media tells us not to vote for, we're going to vote for them. And so since the mainstream media was so anti-Trump, basically people were like, yeah, let's vote for Trump, man. Make sure you guys like the video, though. More likes, the better. If you guys give me a like, give me a subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. But yeah, the likes really matter. You know, it helps us out in the YouTube algorithm. We're trying our best to, you know, get more likes, get more subscribes, get more people to be a part of the channel because we want the subscriptions, man. It's totally free to subscribe, by the way. You guys can easily subscribe and help the channel out. It means a lot to me if you do. We're pretty much at the 4,000 watch hour mark, which in a lot of ways is shocking. It's a good time, man. Good time. It really is looking good out here, you guys. Like super, super nice, super sunny. I got kind of tan from yesterday. I don't know if you guys could tell how red my skin is. I think I got kind of tan though from yesterday. I got a lot of sun, lots and lots of sun. So feeling good, feeling good. But yeah, we got Antoine in the house saying woo, woo. Nature boy, Ric Flair, baby. Yeah, I'm just chilling out at Mingus. Chilling. But yeah, overall, yeah, you get to hear the birds chirping around me. It's pretty fun. Really happy to do the show out. Like I said, nobody really utilizes this space. This is brilliant. I think they assume they're going to get shanked by somebody, but I think that's one of the reasons why most people don't actually chill out up here. I mean, they probably see me talking to myself, so they probably think I'm always like lurking in the bushes at all times, which honestly I don't blame them for thinking that. It's hilarious. But no, I love using this area as kind of like an office space. If I really want to, I can take my laptop, use my wireless hotspot and work on my shit out here. This could really legitimately be a second office for me. And yeah, the more areas you have to, do shit, sky's really the limit. And yeah, I might bring my laptop out here next time, just connect wirelessly, and then I can still do a show. I could share the wireless connection with the phone into the laptop and shit. Use my phone as a actual Wi-Fi hotspot, which would be really fun, and kind of have a blast with it. Do my thing. But yeah, it's just fun. We got 2 hours. We're 2 hours into the park, man. With 23% battery left. This is one of the reasons I love the Pixel 8, because I actually only limit the charge to 80% battery. But when I do these shows, though, I think the battery lasts a pretty decent amount of time, especially from an 80% charge to now. I mean, we're 2 hours in, and we're at 23% battery life, which is really cool. But yeah, I'm loving this, man. This is pimp. But for right now, we're sorry, I got spooked. I heard some movement, but I think it was like some sort of leaf moving, something like that. You gotta do what you gotta do. Oh yeah. Let's see. So we got 15 votes. Okay, so do you think Trump wants to be a king? Please like the video, by the way. More likes we have, the better. 40% of you say yes, he is evil and orange. 60% of you say no, people take him too seriously, too literally. Yeah, and I believe the same thing. I really do think that people take him a little too literally, a little too crazy about it, and yeah, man, I'm happy to be contrarian in this life, man. There's just too many dumb things that people get into, and when it comes down to it, man, like Bitcoin's a great example. Bitcoin's stupid. It's fake. I was watching Peter Schiff at the Bitcoin conference, and what he said, one of the moderators or whatever, one of the hosts for the little debate that they did with Peter Schiff and Lance something, I can't remember the other dude's name, but she basically ended it like this and didn't even let him respond, really. She was saying that you can be for something and you don't have to be against something. Not true. I think you have an obligation to be against stupid shit. So Peter Schiff loves gold, but he also, if he believes that Bitcoin's a net negative to society and that too many people are being bamboozled by all these fucking grifters, he has every right to say, oh no, I'm against this shit. I can be for something and against something. I think it's good to be against stupid things, and then you basically use what you're for to you know what I mean? he's for gold. I think gold's great. I think gold is not. I think gold is real money at the end of the day. And then I'm vehemently against Bitcoin's trash, dude. Bitcoin is not. It's a string of data. It has no intrinsic value. I just am shocked that people have been bamboozled into this legal Ponzi scheme. Speaking of legal Ponzi schemes, can we talk about Social Security? Social Security might be the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time because it's literally the young funding the old for the most part. And yeah, blows my mind. Tim Smith is asking, is it better to date a human ETF than date a single person? That's a good question. That's hilarious. Will there be a human exchange traded fund that person can date? That's a good question, my man. That is a good question. And to that I answer, that is fucking sexy. I don't know. Meet Kevin, one of the YouTuber guys, had an ETF called the PP. It was called the Pricing Power ETF. Legitimately, it was called the PP, and he ended up delisting it because he sucks at stock picking, and he's not a good investor. But let's see. I think if you wanted to date an ETF, I think the best one you could have dated would have been the PP, the Pricing Power ETF, because Meet Kevin made it honestly as if it was like some psycho creating a fucking ETF, man. That I was looking at the positions he had fucking like Rocket Mortgage in there. I blew my mind. There's some companies that I think are not long-term holds. I mean, if you want to have like maybe a share of certain companies, go for it if you want to take a little bit of a chance. But at the same time, man, you gotta be super diversified. That his portfolio was so trash. It was like a 12-year-old decided to go on Robinhood and just pick willy-nilly whatever he wanted to pick. And it was literally, you would have been better off probably betting against the PP, if we're going to be honest. But yeah, the PP was the I just love saying the PP, but the PP itself was the ETF that I think was the trashiest thing I've ever seen. Might have been one of the worst exchange traded funds out there. But yeah, if there was an ETF that you could date, I think that would be the PP. So is it better to date the PP than date an actual single person? I don't know what it looks like out there, man, but maybe you should go with the PP. You gotta go with the PP, my brother. No, I'm just kidding. That's my shitty answer. I've got plenty of shitty answers. But yeah, overall, see how many times I can. Done hitting my phone with my Sprite can. But yeah, it just depends on what you're into. It's really the key. Hope that helps, my man. Yeah, it's fun being out here, man. I'm getting a lot of sunshine, getting my arms kind of tan. And honestly, I like this better than sitting on the bench. I'm actually getting, my legs a little bit of a workout, and doing the show, it feels like more like I'm doing a late night monologue, like, here we're gonna talk about this today, that sort of shit. But Tim Smith says, I delisted Meet Kevin from my Diddy group fantasy. Tim, you can't get rid of Meet Spin Kevin. All right, Meet Spin Kevin needs a platform where he can tell you, how to buy shitty companies, and he'll grift you for sure. But you gotta let Meet Kevin grift you. Sometimes you gotta let Meet Spin Kevin bend you over and have his way with you. If I'm gonna be honest, make sure you guys check out the poll. By the way, do you guys? So the poll goes like this: do you think Trump wants to be a king? Please like the video. 44% of you said yes, he is evil and orange. 56% of you said say so far, no, people take him too literally. I can agree with that. I think that people do take him a little too literally, and it's not good. I think it's kind of pointless to take him too literally. So, you know, whether people like to admit it or not, he really isn't a king by any stretch. By the way, we're gonna take the final part of the show. We're gonna end it more in public. We're gonna take it to a little more of a sunnier spot. We're gonna set up. We're gonna go a little cray here. We might just do it in the restroom. We might not actually. I don't know. It's probably not a good idea. We're gonna take it to the world is but a stage. We're gonna perform some Shakespeare in the park. We're going to the stage, everybody. We're going to the stage. I don't know if you guys are prepared for the shit sandwich I'm about ready to pull out of my ass, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Let's see. Trying to be useful says Trump doesn't have time. Trump doesn't have time to be king. Yeah, I really don't think he wants to be the king, man. I want to be the king, though. Hey, nominate me to be the king. Should I become the king of America? That's the question we all want to ask at the moment. It's the question I think we should all ask. Should I be the queen of America? You decide. You decide, people. I think you all need to decide. But hey, we're doing the show. We're live here. We're live in Mingus. Happy Father's Day, everybody. We're still doing this shit. We're still going. I should probably throw this away. Hold on. Before we continue, I'm going to throw this in the trash. Even there's no recycling around here, so you kind of have to throw your. I mean, most of the homeless people do go through the trash here, so they'll figure it out. But at least they'll be getting a 10-cent deposit and shit. But yeah, I figure we're gonna use the last of the battery here, 19%. We're gonna just do it right. Not under this gazebo though. It's probably bats. Trump doesn't have time. Trump doesn't have time to be king. You'd do a better job, probably. Yeah, of course I'd do a better job. I'm the king. I've worn a Burger King crown. I got too much power. One time I remember when I was 6 years old. I'm going to tell you guys a totally fake story. Have a good day, man. Thank you. Thank you, trying to be useful. I appreciate you. But no, overall, I'm going to tell you guys a fun little story. About when I was a child, I tried on a Burger King crown for the first time when I was 6 years old, and I got a little too much power. I got a little too power hungry, and I started getting my plots of world domination. Now I'm running for president. And that's the way it goes. So, mega. But yeah, make Oregon great again. That I'm MOGA. I'm a MOGA. Make Oregon great again, dude. That would be my campaign if I ran for office here in Oregon. I'm surprised nobody took MOGA. That was mega. None of the Republican candidates around Oregon were clever enough, because I didn't hear anybody say MOGA. I'm MOGA. All right, we're MOGA. Make Oregon great again. All right, we gotta do what we gotta do. Make Oregon great again. But let's see. Tim Smith says Iran hacked my Burger King app and stole all my crowns and just got screwed out of free small nuggets. Oh shit. Of all the times not to bring my I need to do a full show from this area though, because the auditorium stage is perfect. It's level enough. I can put this up high enough, and then if anything wobbles, I can grab the phone before it totally keels over. But overall, this is the way it goes. We're here Mingus Park. Anything can happen, by the way. Anything can happen. Live video. Don't know what's going to happen, but it's fun to do the little invasion yesterday at the anti-Trump rally. Was so funny. I never have, you know, definitely a toxic environment though, man. A lot of people, if you don't agree with them, man, they're like a pack of wolves, dude. It's pretty rough. You gotta avoid that. But it's good to be out and about. It's good to do a live video. We're everywhere at the park today. We're doing our thing. It's getting gay up in here. But yeah, so I mean, Tim Smith says that Iran hacked his Burger King account. Absolutely. First off, I just want to let you know, Tim, that wasn't Iran. That was me. Not just kidding. I got into your Burger King account because your password was I don't know, something guy 69. I'm just kidding. But no, I don't know. The BK app looks like it has lousy security on it anyway. But hey, MOGA, make Oregon great again. If I ran, because one time I wore a BK crown, like I said, as a kid, and I put that BK crown on, and I thought, oh shit, I want to be a king of a country. And I thought, well, I can't be a king of a country, but goddamn, can I be the king of a state? So I'm declaring that I'm going to try to be the king of Oregon. And the king of pop and the king of rock. I want to be the king of whatever I want to be, but I'm going to be the king of Oregon. So if you guys think that my boy is such a tyrant, I'm the real tyrant here. I'm the real tyrant. I want to make Oregon great. I'll make Oregon great again. MOGA. It's called MOGA. Make Oregon great again. But no, Oregon is a Democrat-run place, and it's sad. It's very annoying. But you know, it's pretty cool though. Excited though. But the real tyrant is me. I want to be the king. I want to be the real king. So Tim Smith says, think of purchases as an annual subscription. $8 coffee every week is actually a $416 annual subscription. That's an interesting way to look at it. Honestly, I could think of my Monster energy drinks in the same way. I usually get them for about a couple bucks a pop, usually, because I kind of order them in bulk on Amazon and shit. But yeah, with the Monster energy drinks, I mean, I could think of it if I'm getting, let's see, because $8 coffee every week, yeah. So let's see, I mean, I'm drinking a Monster every day, so assuming that my Monsters stay about a couple bucks a month, not a couple bucks a day. Let's see, I'm gonna use a little bit of girl math here. It'd be $10. Well, no, I drink one every day, so it'd be $14 a week, and then so $14 a week. You times that by 52. Let's see. It'd be $5.20 if it was 10, and then yeah, my math skills, my mental math is bullshit. But yeah, it'd be in the 500s range is really what I'm saying. So like, yeah. So yeah, it's a good way to look at it, honestly. But I have to admit, the Monster energy drinks do get me through the day. So in the long run, it would really only cost me about roughly $700 probably every year for it. And but you know, it keeps me able to do my job, so that's why I still do them. But I will admit, a lot of the dividends that I get do pay for a lot of my extra shit in the long run. So eventually, I mean, my dividends already technically pay for my Monster addiction. So it kind of helps in a lot of ways. But so yeah, I am getting. So the Monsters are kind of free in a sense because I'm constantly getting a dividend from all my shares and shit. But I get a dividend every day, basically. Every day that there's a trading day, technically, I'm always getting some sort of dividend. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, I love being out here in the sun, man. Thank you, Mint Mobile, by the way. I'm glad I subscribed to the $30 a month plan for data, because it's really unlimited data, and I could actually do this show outside for as long as I feel like it, basically. And it's nice. I really do enjoy doing these videos, and It gets me watch time hours. It gets me out and about. It gives me free content. And also now I'm going to be doing more standing episodes. I think I'm going to kind of make a deal with myself and a deal with you guys that I'm going to start doing more stand-up. Not stand-up comedy, but I'm going to stand up more often when I'm doing these outdoor shows because it will keep me on my toes. It'll keep me on my feet. I think sitting down's kind of bad for me at this point in my life, so I'm going to try to stand up as much as I can. This is great, man. I love being out here. Thank you guys for showing up on the channel, though. I appreciate it. It's weird to think. I never thought in my wildest dreams that I would ever be monetized on YouTube. Even when I was younger, I never thought that I could even be remotely successful on this channel. But I really worked my ass off, and I try learning as much as I can. I even watch YouTube videos on how to be better at YouTube, and I decided I hate video editing. So I was like, if I hate video editing, I'm just gonna do live streams. Do everything in one take, and just don't even apologize for the errors. And I don't want to apologize for any errors or anything like that. I want to have fun with it. Let's see here. But yeah, no, I think I think it's funny that everybody thinks Donald Trump really wants to be a king. I don't really think he wants to be. I think he just wants to be a successful businessman. I think the only power he wants in his life is just kind of control of his life, really. I think at the end of the day, that's kind of what a lot of us want. We want our own freedoms. We don't want to be constrained by too many rules. A lot of us don't really care about what society thinks. In the long run, we have to pretend to care. I think a lot of people pretend to care about a lot of the unwritten rules of society. That's the thing, man. If you live by too many restrictions, then you're gonna be a miserable person. I think that's probably the best life lesson I could ever bestow upon everybody. One second, folks. But yeah, Tim ended up sharing the presentation. I see my notifications that it went to my email address. So we're gonna hopefully, if I'm feeling up to do another live stream when I get home. It will be fun to take a look at what Tim is putting out there. But no, I definitely want to see that Smashing Pumpkins concert, man. I think it's gonna be great. Hey, I'm gonna be at the Our Lady Peace concert in Bend here really soon, so it's gonna be a very exciting time. I can't wait to see Rain Medea sing. He's one of my favorite lead singers of all time, just because I feel like he sings with a lot of emotion. I really enjoy artists who sing with a lot of emotion. James Blunt is one of them. Yeah, any male that can sing with that level of emotion, honestly, it really brings out a lot in me, because I feel like in my life, I've always had trouble always expressing emotion to some degree. I don't know if it's because I've just lacked something in my brain or something like that. I don't know, but I don't know. It's just tough. But I like the level of passion he sings with. So I'm really excited to see Our Lady Peace in Bend. It's going to be at the Hayden Amphitheater. It's going to be July. Oh man, my girlfriend already knows the day. I already took the time off and I already forgot the exact date of it. But we have the tickets. We're going to be having a good time. She gets to see her friends in Bend, which is really cool. Her being able to see her friends in Bend, though, I think is a big deal. I want my girlfriend to be able to see people she cares about, and it matters to me a lot. But yeah, Bend is very expensive to live at, though. Like, it is one of the more expensive. It's seriously one of the more expensive cities. It's become so gentrified. Anytime a city or a town becomes gentrified, like Coos Bay, for instance, I think is getting a little more expensive because they've gentrified a few areas. The problem is you could gentrify an area, but it doesn't get rid of the meth heads necessarily, unless you price them out. It just depends. But it sucks because areas like this have a lot of poverty, man. And I hate to say, and I hate to be derogatory towards anybody who's hooked on meth, but meth heads do piss me off. And it's like, try to get your life together. It's easier said than done, you know, but I just don't think drugs are the answer, you know. I feel like I'm a walking dare program. You know, it's funny, a lot of my money, I don't have any vices, so I don't even spend money on beer anymore. I will occasionally, like I say, get like a 6-pack or something, a 12-pack of Coors Light or something. Maybe even, but like I try to get glass bottles because I hate I can't stand the taste of the metal. Like, cause I feel like the metal, I don't know what it is. You taste metal in the beer. I don't want that. I don't want that at all. So I definitely prefer glass bottles over cans any day of the week. So I will always take the glass bottle all day long. At least that's my opinion on it. We have about 13% battery life, so we're not. I didn't bring my external charger. I probably should have, but you know, I think honestly, I can only be out in the sun probably for so long until I roast. But no, I enjoy being out here. But doing the show, you know, doing it up there, doing it down here, it makes no difference to me. The world is a stage, and I want to thank you guys. We finally got to the plateau where we needed to be, and I really couldn't have done it without you guys. Seriously, couldn't have done it without Tim. But even if I could have done it without you guys, it would take a whole hell of a lot longer. So you guys have been a real North Star in getting this show on the road. I want to thank everybody who's been supportive of the show. You know, my girlfriend Brittany, she's been great. She doesn't like the stuff I talk about a lot, admittedly, but that's okay. She still wants me to have my voice, to be myself, no matter what that self may be, whether it's me trolling, whether it's, you know. So she has been supportive of that. You know, she doesn't agree with a lot of the stuff I say, and I don't blame her. You know, we come from, it's kind of like almost different cultures, you know, and that's not a bad thing. That's never, and not in my mind at least. And so, and that's the best part. She still loves me anyway, and I love her a lot, and that's just the way. Hopefully, it should be. I hope that we could be an example of people who have two polar opposite viewpoints and still care about each other and still love each other. You know, I think her and I are a shining example that it's still possible for people to not agree with each other and still love with each other. You know, I think it's a real thing. I think when I get home, I'm probably gonna make a pizza or something. I'm not too sure exactly what I'll be doing, but or I might just have a little bit more beef ravioli or something. I don't know. Got that big old can that I got from Grocery Outlet. By the way, fun fact: I know everybody on here is not actually from Coos Bay, but I'm pretty excited. You know, Grocery Outlet's my main spot as far as discount grocery stores and getting groceries. They're actually taking the one that's out of Empire, and they're actually moving to a better location where an old Rite Aid used to be. But they're moving to a new location. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to be able to. It's going to be, I think, maybe a bigger store technically, because I think the Rite Aid building was actually bigger to begin with than the Grocery Outlet store that's currently where it's at. So being able to, honestly, North Bend is, I'm not going to lie, it's gentrified as shit. So it's a lot better than having it in Empire, because Empire, I'm not going to lie, it's full of people doing tons of drugs and shit, and it pisses me off, man. So I think having it in North Bend, which is a little more gentrified, I think will be the better spot to have a Grocery Outlet. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited. But, you know, less crime. Probably have to deal with way more shit having it out in Empire. But, no, it's exciting times, though. Exciting times. But, yeah, man, going to that protest, though, was actually a pretty good thing. You know, obviously I was the only contrarian, the only counter-protester, but had a blast, though, either way, man. A lot of people got pissed at me, and that was for no reason, really. Well, except for to be pissed at me. You know, some people want to be pissed just to be pissed. And that's just the way a lot of people are these days. They just look for anything to rage at, and I'm not going to lie, I rage at things. I try not to act. I'm not going to go to those. I'm not going to go to those anti-Trump protests anymore. Too many toxic people, too many crazies, and I can't do it. I can't do it, because it's like how you treat somebody with an opposing viewpoint shows a lot about the type of group that you're participating in, and all because I had a hat they didn't like. They treated me like garbage. So I was more than happy to. I'm more than happy to never vote their way. That's for sure. I'll never. I mean, Democrat Party lost me a long time ago. Republican Party's pretty gay too, but both parties suck ass at the end of the day. And I really just want third party to be taken more seriously if we're going to go in the realm of politics. But that's probably not going to happen. We've already opened up Pandora's box, and it's going to be, you know, it's going to be sadly one or the other. I would love to see a more divided House of Representatives and a more divided Senate. That's what I'm really looking for, is division. More division means more discussion is really the key. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. So we're 11% battery. So we're probably going to have to end the live stream, unfortunately. Maybe. Yeah, I'll probably have to end it, sadly. But because the battery's a little too low. I mean, I could just keep going until the battery's like at 7% or something. Maybe 6%, but we'll see. But yeah, I mean, here's the poll. Let's take a look at the poll. So the poll asks, do you think Trump wants to be king? Please like the video. 42% of you say yes, he's evil and orange. 58% of you say no, people take him too literally. And I choose the latter. I really do think people take him a little too literally. He says a lot of things off the cuff and in a sarcastic way, which is one of the reasons why I like him, because he is a jokester. I appreciate it, because I think you need to have a bit of a sense of humor if you're going to be in such a ridiculous situation, you know. He had to take over the shitty Biden economy, which honestly the Biden economy was trash and people knew it. Gen Z actually was the one who really kind of, the Gen Z generation, shockingly, helped get him elected quite a bit, more than they realize. And I'm very happy about that, you know. And you know, eventually we're seeing a new movement. Hopefully third party gets taken a little more seriously, but we shall see. And we'll keep it rolling. And I want to say sorry for the fucking wind. I mean, it's Oregon. We live in a windy area, so anytime you watch a live video like this, you're going to get wind gusts like crazy up your butt. And let's see. We're at 10% battery. We'll just do a little countdown. Once it's low enough, once it's at that 5% marker, I'll just end the stream and call it a day. Yeah. But we'll do a little more streaming when I get home. You know, we made it to where we need to make. We made it to where we need to be as far as the show is concerned. We made the metric, and we did a good job. And I just want to say I'm proud of you guys for. Maybe not proud, but I'm happy you guys stuck with me. And I want to keep trying to make as much content, try to get money from doing this. Obviously, I think that, you know, making as much money as you can is really a good thing. I think they might be doing some Shakespeare in the Park stuff. I think they're gonna do a little practice or something. Let's see what time it is. It's 4:34. Okay. Interesting. So we got 9%. But yeah, no. Jumping back real quick to what Tim was saying, thinking of purchases as an annual subscription. That's actually a really good way to look at it, because I'll admit I drink one Monster a day, and having to have that's a gust. But anyway, I do. I'm gonna hold this like the lead singer of Creed holds down the shit, but overall, yeah, no, looking at it as an annual, almost like an annual subscription. So everything you purchase, you know, find out how often you're purchasing it in a week, you know, get that total, and times it obviously by 52, 52 weeks, and then you figure out how much you're paying per year for that specific thing. That's actually, that is actually something I don't think about very often, and I do try to like buy less, obviously, less things that I don't think I need. But yeah, I really should do that. And if you do think about it as an annual subscription, it can change your viewpoint on how you look at whatever you're purchasing. Now, the Monsters I do consider kind of essential, because I really, as much as I love coffee, I prefer energy drinks a little bit more. I just love energy drinks. They're caked with a good amount of caffeine in them. I mean, if I had to, I would convert to coffee completely. I mean, I've already I obviously make my own coffee whenever I need to, but yeah, I definitely prefer. Yeah, I prefer energy drinks. I really do. And as long as I'm staying active, energy drinks, the effects from what I could tell have been negligible. As long as I do healthy things, if I keep using my exercise ball as a chair, that sort of thing, and maybe it's the way to do it. I don't know. We'll soon find out. But yeah, the wind almost took the camera down. I almost had to juggle. I might even have to hold down the camera. But yeah, it's pretty fun. And like I said, going to that protest yesterday was pretty fucking eye-opening because I'm not, like I said, 10% of the people were dicks to me for no reason, just for having the MAGA hat on. But and if people want to be chodes, they want to be chodes, and they can do what they want. But yeah, having a good time, man. Being in the park, just chilling out, doing a live stream. I need to do this more often, man. It brings the show to the public, and I can actually do surprise interviews. Anybody who wants to come up and talk, I mean, it allows live footage, and it's fun shit. But yeah, let's see. We're 2 hours and 41 minutes into this shit, so it's good. Oh, but yeah, no, going to that hilarious anti-Trump rally yesterday, I've never been called fascist more in my life by a bunch of annoying people. They were not nice to me, man. I started out being nice, but then they kept telling me to fuck off, and I was like, dude, no, gloves are off. I'm gonna tell you guys to fuck yourselves. It's basically what it ended up being, and yeah, I'm proud of myself for sticking up. I usually take it on the chin, but I was like, no, I'm not taking it on the chin. I'm tired of being told to fuck myself, and they throw that word around, fascist, so much that it doesn't even matter anymore. I think when you throw around a word, they throw around the word Nazi, they throw around the word fascist, they throw these words around. I don't even know if they know what it means half the time. And the irony is that they're exhibiting fascist behavior, trying to shut my ass up. And then I get more annoying. I get on their level of annoying. So I started rapping about Joe Biden, about how much I love Joe Biden, and even though that's obviously fake, but it's fun to troll. I gotta troll the world. Yeah, just the way it goes. But yeah, no, I'm really happy about what I did. I think that people take themselves so fucking seriously. Stop taking yourself seriously. I'm not that important. You're not that important. The life that you're leading, lead it to the best of your ability. Find some form of goddamn purpose. That's about it. That's the way it is. And it's a very simple philosophy. Not a tough one. Not a tough one to figure out. But yep. But it's pretty fun doing the show out in the park, though. I figured I was out in the sun all day yesterday. In fact, I'm probably getting a little more sun on the neck. I should probably put a little after sun lotion on this shit when I get home. But overall, having a blast, man, at the end of the day. Yeah, let's see. We're at 7% battery life, so we've been doing this long enough. I really could have done this longer if I would have brought my little portable charger, which I'll remember that next time. We'll try to keep that in my back pocket or something. What else do we want to talk about today? I guess we'll end the show on a final note since we got 7% battery left. I do like Tim's suggestion about looking at everything as an annual subscription. So anything I purchase, it does maybe make certain things a little more daunting. I'm kind of curious to think about like how much my monsters cost me every year, even though I'm only paying about $2 for most of those. But yeah, I'm only paying about $2 per month. Well, not per month, sorry, per day. But you take that, do the $2 by 365 as well, then you figure out how much that is per year. Especially if I'm drinking one every day, in theory, that's how much it would cost. But yeah, it's fun shit. So I do like the whole idea of taking itemizing what you purchase, whether it's food, whether it's, you know, your bills, finding out what a lot of that stuff would cost per year and be like, do I really need this? And it's an important question. I've not used that specific formula, but I have just made a list and was honest with myself. I called it kind of my honest budget. And I was like, do I need this shit? Like, I had to ask myself, like, for every single one of this, and even the ones I knew I needed it for, I still made it a habit. And I asked myself, do I need this crap? Do I need this crap? Do I need this? What do I need? What do I need? Is this good? Is this good? Is it bad? You have to ask yourself the question, do I get any utility out of this? Do I even get any joy out of it? So do I get joy? Do I get utility? What do I get out of the dealio? And yeah, that's kind of how it rolls at the end of the day. It's all about what do I get out of the deal. So, and if it's BS purchases, then, you know, I want nothing to do with it if it's BS. But yeah. Well, but I will say this. We'll end it on this note again. I just want to keep going until this battery dies, which is close enough. Not everybody who's subscribed. To all of you guys, everybody subscribe, like these videos, and the fact that we're now at full monetization, the fact that we get money from this show at a rapid scale is kind of a thing that I never thought would happen. And I just got to say thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. Levels of gratitude that I can't even explain. Like, I think of people who really want to watch this show, and I thank you. I mean, I'm just a weird dude. I'm just kind of a fat, tall dude who loves to make content, who loves to talk about different financial theories and nerd out on it. And it's nice to know that you guys really want to see this shit. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. But anyway, on that note, I'm actually signing out right now. I'm gonna head back home. We're gonna figure out some more crap. I'm actually probably gonna show you guys Tim's slideshow, because he did send it to me. I'm going to download it to my computer. We're going to open it up in PowerPoint. We're gonna really kind of dissect it and see what's up with it, you know. So that's going to be kind of fun, man. All right, to everybody, thank you guys. I mean it. Let's keep it up. I might work a half day tomorrow. I'm not too sure. It depends on how I'm feeling. I think the day that I get monetized which I'm thinking might actually happen tomorrow fully, is probably going to be the day that I take off. We'll see, though. We'll see. But it's going to be entertaining. It's going to be fun, and we're just going to keep up the momentum going, and it's the way it rolls, man. The way it rolls. But anyway, before I go, actually, any final notes from anybody who's still watching, anybody in the chat who wants to say one last thing before I end this particular stream. Any questions unanswered, you name it, before the battery totally dies. And if no other questions, I'll accept that as well. Make sure you guys like the video, though. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. More subscriptions, more, we get shown more often. So more often we get more likes on these, really helps the channel in more ways, and it kind of helps people find this content on YouTube. There's a lot of people that don't know about this show, and I want them to. I think it may help some people. It may not help anybody. There's some people this show is not made for, and that's okay. I have my audience. I want them to just be curious people. At the end of the day, they don't have to be. They be haters. I don't care. I just like trying to help where I can, not people pleasing. But well, I don't see any additional chats. But before that, I still want to elaborate a little further on Tim's idea. I'm sure he got the idea from something else. And if it's a completely original idea, I do want to say it's a brilliant idea. Whoever came up with the ideas, it's brilliant, because honestly, you're seeing what you're purchasing is a bigger number. So you might think, wow, do I really want to pay this amount per year? Is it really that worth it to me to pay this much every year for this product? And then that's kind of, looking at it as a subscription. That's pretty fucking, I need to do an entire episode on that, actually. Thank you, Tim. See, this is why guys like Tim, man, they contribute more than they realize. And I'm sure he realizes his contribution and shit, but you know, guys like Tim, man, guys like Michael Donaldson, guys like Yager's Farm, Jim from Yager's Farm, guys like fucking Martin, all the way in Norway. You know, thank you guys for being fucking members of this channel. You know, just in case I can't become fully monetized, but for whatever reason. But I just want to thank you guys, really, from the bottom of my heart. But catch y'all later. And I'm going to end the poll here real quick. And we're going to end the stream. See you guys.